going on? I'm Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I am Diggins.
Ooh. And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo! Do not adjust your TV sets. This is not the Shark France episode again. This is a different show. I have a feeling that's probably what our intros were for that as well.
Mine was, definitely.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I know, you know what? I think DJ's was like screaming. There was a lot of screaming. Although there's a lot of screaming in this movie too.
Mine was French, though. Mine was the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It seems given the opportunity, you will always pick
It's
French.
fun. Try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess
They had the silliest of the people, you know? And I think there's just a lot of, it's an accent a lot of people can do, you know?
Well,
not me, but you guys. So
I was told by a listener that my French accent is very bad. So I want to be very clear. This is a bad one. I do bad on purpose as a joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not like all those other accents you were doing before the show to us, just us.
Yes, those ones were perfect.
Yeah, of different cultures and things like that. And you said like
all
never talk about these because I'll get in
cultures.
trouble. Yeah, yep.
Every culture was white.
Mm-hmm.
You can always do an Italian accent, Nando. It's never racist.
Every culture is white is the new Pixar motto. So to be fair, that does fit right into what we're going to be talking about today. Speaking of that, well, first we'll talk about another cultural thing in our news, and then we're going to talk about Inside Out 2. Where would you put the 2 in this movie in its title? Would it be the T and out? If you wanted to,
I like the T. Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
Or Inside Out 00. Inside Out 2.
Yeah, I don't know that there's another place for it. Sorry, you're going to say one.
I was just saying, could you do Outside In? That doesn't really work, though. That'd be too confusing. It's like a weird... I'm surprised this doesn't have a subtitle, actually.
Pixar doesn't usually go in for subtitles. I mean, all the Toy Stories are just Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4.
That's true.
Incredibles 2 is just Incredibles 2.
Yeah, that movie stunk. So they shouldn't do that. They should do something
Cars
else.
2, Cars 3. Yeah, they don't do subtitles.
The only one I can think of is Monsters 2 University and Finding Nemo 2 Finding Dory.
Well, but those aren't subtitles. They're just different names for the sequels.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, we'll talk about Inside Out because I have a couple questions about that movie. But before that, we have to talk about the other thing that's cool and sweet. The Dark Universe, you guys, it's back, baby.
Yeah, the most important news.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
There's other things in the world, but I have a feeling once everybody hears about the Dark Universe, they will all be derailed because this has just kind of been spreading in circles. Currently, the video has about 400,000 views, so there's still lots of time. But
that's just a drop in the ocean of how much popular it will be. And
a lot of those views were me. But DJ, do you want to explain this? How about DJ? Because you're more of a theme park aficionado than I am.
Yeah, I'm the Jenny Nicholson of this podcast.
Yeah, I don't understand the portals, and the sight lines, and any of the shit they're talking about in this.
So yeah, Universal is opening it's one new park. So so bad. I don't know how many parks Universal currently has.
2, right?
I want to say
they've got their Universal Studios, and then Marvel Islands of Adventure.
Islands of Adventure.
I think because they also got Harry Potter World. They've got Nintendo World.
So Nintendo World is going in this. Sorry.
Epic Universe is the third park, which is encompassing 5 sub themes, whatever goes in like the park. So
see, this is why DJ's got to explain this. I don't understand these nuances.
So the new park, Epic Universe, has like 5 areas. So it's Dark Universe, Mario, How to Train Your Dragon. I think another like Harry Potter world's going in here, and then the 5th one's Minions. I think
the 5th one, I believe, is technically the hub world that exists. It's called Celestial Park, and that's just kind of like it seems like it's got like an Epcot vibe. But then the Harry Potter one is the Ministry of Magic. Now, what I can't remember is whether I heard this or not. If you can connect from Harry Potter World to other Harry Potter World via some sort of monorail or something like that.
Right, because they had that because the original Harry Potter World was can't remember if it was Diagon Alley or Hogsmeade, but then when they built the extension, it was like a new one, and you like took a train like back and forth. But right, I don't know. It's weird because this is a whole new park.
Yeah.
Like this Harry Potter world's in a different park. Like, how would that work? Because I assume they have some kind of hopper equivalent where you could go to the different parks throughout the day. However they facilitate it would probably be cool. If there's a listener who's like, is like the Universal to my Disney, where like, you know, everything Universal, like I know Disney, I'm only tangentially Universal. But yeah, that's like the basic gist. But why we're talking about this is because Nando had shared like the little trailer with like whatever Universal's equivalent of Imagineers is, talking about the Dark Universe portion of Epic Universe. Dark Universe and Epic Universe. It's two
Universal Epic Universe. What's complicated about that?
Universal Epic Universe.
Universal Epic Universe, Dark Universe of Universal Monsters.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. And I don't know how soon I'll be going to this park. It opens next year, but I'm very excited. I'm very, very, very excited. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So what?
And as we all know, no theme park advertising has ever been misleading about the quality and content of the eventual theme park.
Not for Universal, that's for sure. They've always got it right.
I don't know if Jenny Nicholson or a Jenny Nicholson type would do the Universal takedown, but I'm here for it if it turns out that it's just a bunch of shops.
Yeah.
But that Dracula restaurant looks dope. I was going to
say, don't buy your $2,000 Dracula restaurant reservation just yet. I would say wait till they work the kinks out.
I don't know. If I don't get my blood sucked by a hot lady vampire, then I don't know that I would consider my money well spent.
Well, it depends. Are you okay with getting your blood sucked by a hot lady vampire with obstructed view? Or is that a game breaker for you? Is that not worth it?
Obstructed view of the vampire or of the
of the alien singer in the middle of the stage show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't be happy about it, but I am a pushover and won't complain.
That's fair. I respect that. How about, oh my God, because we've all seen the Jane Nicholson video. What if Epic Universe bought the Star Wars Hotel and just like made that part of this? Like, is this Secret Dragon Island?
It's so far away.
Yeah, it's really far, but they could just have it and then like do it good and then, make Disney look stupid. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, that would be like the funniest outcome for sure.
But yeah, what attractions are you guys most excited to do at Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe?
I mean, there's like one experience where like you get to like see all of the monsters. I want to do whatever that
Monsters Unchained.
Oh, the ride or like a meet and greet kind of thing.
No, I think it's the ride.
Yeah, that ride looks sick as hell.
That looks amazing.
I think it's like, from what I remember from the computer or from the video, the story of it is, what is her name? Victoria, I guess.
Victoria von Frankenstein.
Victoria von Frankenstein. Yeah. Kidnapped all the monsters and is just trying to fuck around and do experiments or whatever, and Dracula came to get him back or something. That's what these movies should have been from the beginning. What the fuck were they doing? Instead it was like Tom Cruise pretending to be young and stuff and hanging out with a ghost or something. Like what a mess. Instead it just should have been this. It should have been portals, Dracula's in it and stuff. That's pretty cool. Then at the end of the movie they go get food at the Dracula restaurant. What about you, Diggins? What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited for, they say in the video, they're going to get Russell Crowe to dress up as Dr. Jekyll and just wander around the park. I'm really excited to meet him in his full Dr. Jekyll costume.
Yeah. DJ, you've been to the Disney one, right? Like the Disney Marvel thing?
I have.
In that, I think this is closing. Doctor Strange used to have a stage show, right?
Yeah,
yes.
The performers unionized, so they're stopping all these things, but yeah.
Do you think they could do that with Dr. Hyde, where he, like, gets yellow in front of you and, like, grabs a table and it bends under his weight? Like in the movie?
I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I went to the, as you mentioned, the Marvel
Land, the Marvel, what would you call it? Like the Marvel parking garage or something.
Mall. Yeah, the Marvel parking garage mall. I think I remember I shared a photo with you guys, and this was pre Jonathan Majors Fallout, but there was just Kang was on a roof, observing.
It was pre finding out what happened to him vis-a-vis Disney, post Jonathan Majors Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
So they had him hiding on the rooftop.
That was the actor, just like who they hired because he looks exactly like Jonathan Majors. You'll never take me alive. I'm going to do this forever. Must suck if you're that guy.
There is and I know that she Jane Nicholson talks about this in her video, but the uncanny nature of just like how all of the Disney like actors like for a role like look like that person. So they had to cast like 5 Jonathan Major Kangs just to like, you know, be available, right? Like all the Daisy Ridley types for Ray, right?
And now there's going to be a lot of like, God, what would they even be? What's like a background actor in Marvel shit? Like an alien or something that looks suspiciously like Jonathan Majors in the Guardians of the Galaxy land or something. Like, I don't know.
You should have just fired all those people.
Nah. Whatever. They probably have some contract. They get paid pennies. Keep, you know.
They get to be Black Panthers now because there's not an actor you have to look like right now.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's and you know what they can be? You know what they can't be? You know what? Maybe they can wait around to be Blade if they ever get around to making a Blade movie. Wouldn't that be something?
Ooh, that's a good call. Yeah.
For now, they can all be Blade's lawyer, who's like, when are they going to make my fucking client's Blade movie? Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Merciless lawyers, like, this is ridiculous.
Oh man, they're never going to make the Blade movie. They can't figure out.
They can't
figure out how to make a movie about a cool black guy who kills vampires. They don't know how to do it. It's an impossible formula.
I mean, I really would like to believe they have the perfect Blade movie set up, and they're just trying to figure out how to make Jon Snow part of it. And every time they shove him into a corner, the whole thing falls apart. And they're like, the people want Jon Snow's the Black Knight in this. Otherwise, why would they even go? And that keeps fucking it all up. Because apparently they cast someone in that. Mia Goth, I believe, from like Pearl and all those movies, is apparently playing Lilith, or was playing Lilith in an early draft of the script. Who knows if that's still a thing? But they lost Delroy Lindo, who was going to be something in these, and is no longer in Blade, 1. So great, pretty good. So sorry to the Delroy Lindo lookalike actor that was going to be walking around the Disney lot. You're also an alien now. You're all recast as aliens. Nobody gets to be anybody.
Well, it's fine because, again, the performers have unionized, so they're just all going to be fired eventually.
That's fair. I mean, they really were... They got really close on robots, like coming up with little... They make the Spider-Man fly. He's a robot. Why not just, instead of having... Kang walk around, we just dress up the Spider-Man like Kang, and everybody sees Kang do a big web swing into a little net, and everyone goes, wow, there was Kang. Take your pictures, kids.
This is how we think outside the box. Yeah. This is very clever thinking.
Until the robot dressers unionize, and then you gotta really start getting creative. I don't know what they can do.
Yeah.
But they'll think of something. They're Disney.
Well, by then, they'll think that the generative AI is good enough that it can do that.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that? What was that? It was OpenAI, the CTO or something yesterday said, if you're not a cool artist, the AI is going to eat you up, and that's good. What did she say? I don't know.
And there was another person saying, like, within a year and a half, AI will have PhD level intelligence.
Can't wait.
I mean, you can get a PhD, an honorary PhD from anywhere, I
was going to say, as far as meaningless statements go, it's pretty high up.
I'm going to say, our low bar for everything, Mark Wahlberg probably has an honorary PhD. I'm going to take a guess. Oh, he's a high school dropout, too. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
He had to go do his entourage.
He is an honorary doctor from some university that he did a speech at.
So we could be calling him Dr. Wahlberg.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, it was at Virginia Tech at the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. No way. Oh, this is a different Mark Wahlberg. Okay. The first thing I said was true.
Really?
There was Mark Wahlberg did get one of these, but Virginia Tech News had news about a different Mark. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to figure this out. Vermont University. Nope, that was a cat. This is so hard to figure these web stories.
What is going
they
on?
gave an honorary degree to a cat?
Yeah, apparently. So I'm looking. So I googled. Here's what I googled: Mark Wahlberg honorary PhD, and I saw a video, but I'm not going to listen to the video now. And so I tried to find a website.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the third thing on the list was from Virginia Tech News. It just says Mark Wahlberg honored with emeritus status. I'm like, oh, that must be it. Clicked on that link. It's a different guy, an older gentleman who, probably earned it by being smart. And then I scroll down a little bit more, and it says Mark Wahlberg sits down for an exclusive chat with Today. And you know how like Google, if you search something, will highlight it in the little blurb of the search. So it did that. That just says doctorate by Vermont University. So I go, oh, that's what it was. And then I read a little bit further, and that's like kind of probably in that page, but it's a different story about a cat given an honorary doctorate by Vermont University. So yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
In what?
Let's see.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Cat.
I'm invested now. I got to know about this Dr. Cat.
We're going to figure this out.
Last week it was pole vaulting. This week it's the cat doctors. By the way, thank you to the person in Discord who posted the commercial that we were thinking about. Also, it wasn't pole vaulting, it was the
long jump.
High jump.
The high jump is pole vaulting, my man.
So it was the long
jump?
I
think it's the long jump, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we got that, and but yeah, OpenAI is pretty cool. They're all gonna take all the jobs and stuff. Pretty good. Do you think has Pixar gotten in trouble for anything AI related yet?
I don't think so. Not AI.
Not that
related,
I know of,
no.
but
right now, did it? No Pixar directors have been like, in 2 years we'll make Inside Outs with just AI. Let me Google see Pixar AI. What comes up.
I don't know enough to say that no Pixar person has said anything. I don't believe any Pixar production has used it.
Oh. No, and you know why? You know what happens when you Google this? You guys see they made some fucking Monsters Incorporated little camp ripoff movie with AI? Like
I did see
trailer.
that. It was really bad.
Mike Wazowski's in the background of it, just like in the Monsters Incorporated commercials. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so that's as far as they've gotten, I guess. Speaking of Pixar, let's talk about Inside Out 2. The movie of this week. The most exciting movie, the one everyone's talking about besides the shark movie on Netflix, which is apparently the most watched movie this week.
And the haters and the doubters were all like, why are they doing this stupid shark movie? But we're ahead of the curve this time.
Maybe we created it. Yeah, exactly. It's thank you, shark. Or what? Merci? No. What is French for thank you?
That is merci beaucoup.
Oh, I want to hear. Yeah, I'd like to hear that from the French shark director guy. Just like, thank you. Merci. A la promoting our movie, cinema. Anyway, who's the IMDb person for this one?
It's you.
And I think you looked last week and was like, oh, God, no.
Oh, yeah. It's still weird. Oh, I could have looked at this the whole time because I was having a really hard time not looking up actors for this because I kept hearing voices and going, that's someone.
Did you save the old weird one in case it's not changed?
I think you did.
I think you're like screen
the new one's weird, but I don't think it's the same. Let me see. But yeah, I did screen grab it. So yeah, we're doing Inside Out this week, you guys.
So are they the same or are they different?
I'm finding it. It's in my pictures file. Okay. Probably called it Inside Out or something like that. That's what you would assume.
Or called Picture 39.2.5 underscore final.
Search by screenshots. Oh, I found it. Wait. Okay. Yes, Inside Out summary. Okay. Yeah, I think this is the same one. Yeah, this is the same one. It's still not
so
good.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's
sick,
weird.
Nasty.
So you guys, IMDb. It's like what? Well, I mean, do you know? It's where the summaries come from. Do you know how they make the summaries?
I would love to know.
I don't, but I'd love to know.
There's a bunch of little guys all at chairs pushing buttons, That's what everyone loves to do. And that's what everything secretly is. So it's buttons and different guys try to jump in front of the buttons and smash the buttons. And if they hit them in the right order, then a summary comes out. But sometimes there's interpersonal conflicts within the buttons. And because of that, the summaries are weird. It seems like something's going on with the button pusher guys in the IMDb recently, specifically because a lot of the summaries have been weird. Last week's was, a disaster. It had like a phrase in it. I can't remember what it was, but like an excitement to the max or something.
Yeah.
Your favorite bad boys.
Favorite bad
boys. A contention we disputed, if I recall.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So this summary is different, very different. Obviously, the bad boys are not even mentioned. But beyond that, it is also framed in a very different way. I think this is going to be a lot of trouble. So I think we'll probably have to take a couple guesses at this. I'm not really going to give you guys any clues, so just do whatever you want. Who goes first?
Okay. Well, I get to choose as last week's loser.
Yeah. All right.
And as such, because this is apparently such a wild card, I'm going to make DJ go first.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I guess I'm gonna try a couple curveballs, but I'm also gonna try to. Okay, so can you at least give it's like shorter?
It's long? On the shorter side. It's okay. It's not super long.
Okay. Having to deal with her growing complex emotions, Riley goes to hockey training camp where she will make some new friends while abandoning her old ones.
Okay, Diggins.
Okay. A trip to hockey camp the summer before high school introduces young preteen or young teenager Riley to a whole slew of new emotions.
Okay. So neither of them were ever really that close. So this is good. This is kind of what I expected. Okay. Let's take this from the top. I'm going to say less. Give me less.
Give you less? Okay.
Give me less. We'll start with DJ again. But yeah, give me less.
I'm going to give you the least.
That'd be smart. But
Riley must deal with her complex emotions.
Okay. Diggins?
Riley hits puberty, causing new emotions to arise.
Oh, okay. So you're both kind of in the ballpark. I don't think either one's much better than either of the others. And I don't think tie breaking is going to help because there's like 7 words in this summary and you've pretty much said all of them. So we're going to do another tiebreaker. We're going to do something different. But before that, I'm going to tell you the real summary. This is a summary on imdb.com for Inside Out 2. Here we go. If someone asked you, DJ, here, this will be helpful. Ask me, hey, I'm going to go see Inside Out 2. What's it about?
Hey, I'm going to go see Inside Out 2. What's
Follows Riley in her teenage years encountering new emotions. It's crazy. It's crazy. Psychotic.
Come on.
Unless this character's name is secretly Follows Riley. Like Riley is her middle name and Follows is her first name, but it's such a weird first name. She goes by her middle name. Because
come on,
that's what we get.
So it follows Riley.
In her teenage years, encountering new emotions.
We were talking about Riley's last week. Your favorite Riley is back.
Also, a couple people pointed out that I forgot about the Riley from National Treasure, who is Nicolas Cage's assistant. Riley.
That's true, Riley Poole.
That is a good Riley. Yeah.
Isn't he the one guy who came back for the TV show?
Oh, I don't know. We never saw it. I'm surprised that hasn't come up for something, honestly, because
someone hasn't forced us to do it. Diggins, not too late.
It's true.
Oh, you'll wish that I make you watch something as good as the National Treasure TV show.
Have you decided yet and are holding out, or you just haven't decided?
I told you. You tell me when my week comes, and I will tell you what we're watching.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. What do you guys want to do for this one? We have some options, I guess. I mean, we could obviously do the game that DJ hates, but I think the game would be super weird for this one.
Yeah, for several reasons.
Yeah, because it's just like weird. Like, I mean, there's so many names. You could honestly just take shots at random characters from popular culture and probably hit some of them. I'm going to look at the... Oh, okay. This is actually pretty good.
I mean... If Diggins just wants to slam dunk me, if Diggins wants to Kendrick Lamar Drake me, you know, he's more than welcome to.
Well, it's
like I'll play the game.
Nando's got cooking up here. Nando sounds like he had something.
I actually think I have a pretty good tiebreaker that I think will be quite difficult.
Oh, okay. And then we'll play the game.
And if neither of you can get any of them, then we'll do the game.
Okay.
I don't think that's impossible, though. I think some of these... Okay, so for background, we're talking about an early draft of the screenplay. Unless, Diggins, have you seen this trivia yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So there's an early draft of the screenplay. It was probably very different, but in the same idea, like generally, that introduced different color-coded emotions. So instead of anxiety, embarrassment, ennui, and envy, it is 4 other emotions that each came with a new character, or new color, excuse me. And I'm sure new characteristics related to that emotion, and some other ones where you're like, wait, is that one that? But it doesn't matter. I want you guys to just take shots at either. Well, give me what the characteristic is, and then if you want to throw a color in there too, that will help with tiebreakers. But let's see if we can come up with the 4. They are, they're kind of emotions, maybe.
Do you want like one at a time?
One at a time.
Okay.
So, Diggins, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first. I can think of emotions. I'm gonna start off strong with, of course, the number 1 teenage emotion, horny.
And what color would you give that?
I mean, obviously, it'd be white, right?
Okay, that's an option. DJ, what about you?
I'm wondering if it was like if orange was supposed to be something else.
DJ's like, damn, he's still horny.
These are different colors entirely.
Yeah, one of them kind of repeats. One of them's like, I could be convinced that was the same color, but it's like, that's a different color.
I'm going to go real basic. Pink, love.
Okay, so Diggins said horny, but DJ said love. It is love. And you're both wrong about the color, although DJ was closer. It's magenta. But let's keep going, because there's 3 others.
But isn't fear like purple?
Magenta, I would say, is closer to a reddish purple. Yeah, it's like
right.
Like Magenta, the dog from Blue's Clues.
I was gonna say, didn't you watch Blue's Clues?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. No, I've suppressed. That's my teeth. Oh
my god, yeah. Well, DJ, you can go first now. Take a shot. Any other emotion besides love, obviously, and it's a corresponding color.
I'm gonna go with awkwardness.
Okay, what color would you give that?
Which I think it's different from like embarrassment, but I'll go like awkwardness, and I'm gonna give the color. Let's go with. Let's give that orange. We'll do awkwardness orange.
Okay, Diggins.
I'm gonna go with shame yellow.
Oh no, neither of those, but both good answers. I do think love is an emotion, right? Like probably. Yeah. Maybe, it's a bunch of things, but
I think so.
I would say it's a kind of joy, but yeah, it's an emotion.
Right. I would say these other 3 are like a little bit harder to pin down as emotions. But like they're so like you get a little bit more creative with what they are. I guess these feel like bigger concepts that I understand why they would go with teenage Riley, but I could also see them being child Riley. Like this, it's not that unusual. It's not like it's not super specific, like a puberty thing, as much as just like a different emotion. So let's try again. Diggins, give me an emotion and a color.
I'm gonna go hunger, and also yellow again. No, wait, joy's yellow, not yellow. Orange.
Okay, DJ.
You bastard! I was gonna take hunger. Envy's in this movie, right? That's
Envy
what the
is Ayo Edebiri,
light blue one. That's
right.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna do hunger.
Just like you were gonna do horny.
If you felt really strong about it, you could do hunger, but give it a different color. But at this point, there's 3 potential
I'll let
emotions
Diggins
on the board. So
if he was good to steal it, he deserves it. So you said no to horniness because I'm like
well, horniness and love were the same thing in the Pixar verse, so I think that's what love is, as far as I'm concerned. Like love and horniness are interchangeable.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do creativity. And let's give that color. You know what? I'm gonna go like I'm gonna say like polka dot.
Oh, I like that.
Purple and blue polka dot. Yeah, right.
So neither of those are correct. I would say DJ's on the right track for some of these other ones, but also like I'm saying, they're kind of more concepts that you could kind of apply to other emotions. I feel like that is why these feel a little weird. But yeah. So let's do 2 more rounds of guessing. See if either of you get another one, and then after that, I will decide who wins. Starting with DJ, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do suspicion, and let's do like gray.
Okay. Diggins.
Concepts you could apply to other emotions.
Okay, not all of them are that, but like 1 or 2 of them are kind of that.
I'm gonna go with intensity. And that would be like love was already magenta. I was thinking somewhere in the red family. Let's go. Here's the thing. I can't think of colors. Brown.
Okay.
There you go.
So, while Diggins didn't quite get the name exactly right and was nowhere close on the color, one of the emotions is passion. And that came with the color cyan. So, I'm going to say that's like pretty close to a correct. So, there's 2 more. These are easily the 2 more like weird ones.
Okay.
And the colors are also weird. I would say the colors of these, I'm like, that's a statement. You're making a choice, but go with it. Like Inside Out 2 or Inside Out 1.5 or whatever. Diggins, you want to take one more shot at these?
Sure. Let's go with curiosity. And we'll say that one is Robin's Egg Blue.
Okay. DJ?
Can we do... Can we say... This is like weird, but I'm gonna go with like faithful.
Riley gets religious.
Yeah.
Or okay, sorry. Can I say that's a loyal?
I knew that's like what you meant, but
yeah. All right. And can we make that white?
Oh,
pure.
There we
white.
go.
Everyone knows that to be faithful, you must be white.
Apparently,
I believe Pixar would believe that.
Okay. So neither of those are correct. DJ was correct that one of them is white. The other one is black. These are the
I did
other
say
2
horniness
emotions.
was white.
Yeah, you did say that, but you said that as a joke about something else. This one, I feel like it's with this one, they were like, this is a, cool emotion, and this one's a dangerous emotion. The cool one is the white one, and the dangerous one, that one's the black one, maybe.
Obviously.
I wouldn't say the other one's bad, but one more shot, either of the 2, and I didn't really care about the color, but you could tell me if you think it's a black or a white.
Well, I'm gonna go with just like depression black.
Okay, that's a great guess. Wrong, but good guess. Diggins?
Okay. I'm gonna go with. Feels like it's just fear.
We already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I was trying to think of one, but I was like, it's probably just
double fear.
Double fear.
Terror.
I was gonna go. This isn't my guess. I was going to say paranoia, but I was like, that's basically just fear. Or anxiety, honestly.
Yeah.
A cool one and a bad one.
Not bad, but I would say like Jane. I could see one of them being the bad guy, or like the one that you're like worried about, and one being the one that's like cool and chill.
Like, also like thrill seeking or recklessness, or like let's go with thrill seeking because that's more neutral.
All right, you're on the right track, but that one's also not right. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm going to say Diggins wins overall. He got one of the emotions close. He got the one you both got, although DJ got it closer. And I do think Diggins was a little bit closer with the type or the original title or summary. The other emotions, so we have love, magenta, passion, cyan, freedom, white, and
obviously,
obviously,
come on, Nando.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta reverse those on freedom. I mean, come on.
And strength, black.
Oh, so, that's not an emotion at all.
Nope, it's not an emotion. If anything, it feels like it kind of overlaps with passion's job.
I mean, freedom's also not an emotion.
Freedom's not no. At least freedom is like with passion. It's like you're passionate about something. You feel strongly about that. Those are the same word. Like that's. But so I don't. I'm guessing like strength was a big muscle man or something, and passion was like a little fangirl or something. Because that's how these go.
I guess you could say it's like you feel free or you feel strong, but that doesn't make them emotions, really.
Yeah, it's more about like.
Did you guys know freedom isn't free?
Apparently,
I've heard that,
and it's not Inside Out 2 either. Although maybe it'll be Inside Out 3. Who knows?
Inside Out 3, perhaps.
Yeah, and I feel like you get a little bit of that here, where it's like, oh, Riley wants freedom, but not really. But like, I can see how that would work into a movie like this. So Diggins, as the winner, you get to tell us what you thought of Inside Out 2. The one with no strength or freedom.
Right. So I related to it.
Yeah. And one of the relatable movies by Pixar, as we all know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it features a white American. So that makes it...
Yeah. Not Canadian.
Not Canadian, not Asian.
Nope.
Not Italian.
Puberty, though. Oh, God, not Italian. Yeah.
No. So, I mean, first of all, I think Inside Out is, I don't know if I'd put it at number one, but I think it's one of the best Pixar movies. I love Inside Out. I think it's extremely well constructed in the way that it sort of layers the metaphor of emotional maturity around like the central plot of it, and like understanding that everything in your body, like in your mind, has a function. And like there's no like emotions you feel that are just fully like there's no reason this exists, you should never feel it, which I think is a good thing to like reinforce in children and honestly most adults. And it's hard to recapture that same magic twice. It's hard to like do that again and still like make it feel like have that moment of where it all comes together where you're like, oh my God, that's what they're doing. Whoa. So it was always hard for this movie to feel that incredible moment the way the first one has. And for that reason, I don't know that I like it as much as the first one. That being said, I think they still did a really great job of sort of like, again, like layering the metaphor in a way. We can and almost certainly will get into the weeds of where it falls apart if you think about it too much. But I think in the broad strokes of it, I think the metaphor works super well. And tells a similar message about, understanding that all your emotions serve some function and exist for a reason, and like understanding that you have to embrace all of it. But in a different enough way and in a different enough context that I think it still works as a sequel. So yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I think it's great. I don't think it's like a generalized experience for everybody, really. I mean, maybe it's not specifically the director of this movie's experience, but like it is still telling a very specific story about this specific teenager that then becomes relatable through the generalized metaphor. Like if Pete Docter thinks that that's not what's happening here, then he's simply wrong. But yeah, no, so I really like this movie. I don't know. I don't feel like I don't want to take up too much of your time going into more detail than that. I think that's the broad strokes of it. So let's say, DJ, it's your turn. What do you think of Inside Out 2?
I also like this movie. I was worried that this was going to be quite bad because Pixar has been, I would say substandard in the sequel department. Like lot of Pixar sequels. The good ones are Toy Story 4 is great.
There's 4?
I like
all the Toy Story sequels.
Yeah, it's like the best.
4?
Yeah.
Which one do you think 4 is?
That's the Bo Peep one. Bo Peep's our heroine, and she's like so cool. What do you think 4 is?
It's that one, but I don't even dislike 4. I think 4 is fine, but the best one?
Yeah, fucking owns. It's so good.
Fascinating.
Is it? Whoa, do we gotta take a whole... All right, hold on, I'm gonna park the car. All right, let's park the car. What's the best Toy Story? Well, sorry.
Toy Story 1? The best one?
Yep, the best Toy Story
what's the best
sequel.
Toy Story beside... Yeah, sure. What's the best Toy Story sequel?
Oh, it's got to be number 2 because it's got Darius Emmanuel Grouch III, aka the Rumble, as Prospector Pete.
It does. It's great. I mean,
I do think 2 is my favorite of them, but I can't remember. I feel like it's a toss up between 2 and 3.
I would say I would make the distinction. 2 is my favorite. 3 is the best.
4 is my favorite and the best. I love 4 so much. I think 4 is because I think it breaks the mold so well. We're able to escape the Andy story and go into something totally new and awesome. I fucking love 4.
Okay,
it's so
Listen,
good.
I don't hate that movie. I don't feel like I gotta like tear you down. I'm just kind of shocked.
Me too. Save your tearing him down for his summary, Diggins.
Exactly.
There'll be plenty of time for tearing down.
That we will, the tearing down will be great and merciless. All right, well, I want to take that little detour. So, all right, so Pixar sequels, right? Like, haven't been great, right? So, I don't know, pick your Toy Story sequel. I like Monsters U, but that's a prequel, right? So, like, that's kind of also in the weird, like...
It also is just, like, flatly inferior to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also true. But I think that, like, this one does quite well. I think what I liked about it is it follows... Like, it sequentially follows the sequel to, like, its logical conclusion. So it's like, we follow Riley, she's older. There's almost like a preview of this in the last movie, how the last movie ends. Yes, there are new emotions. I'll admit, I scoffed at that idea. I'm like, new emotions? We covered all the emotions of the first one. How are they going to have new emotions? But actually, the way they pull it off is very good. And I would say, especially the introduction of anxiety. I think that character and how it plays into the experience, like a very new experience of being in a new place and, you know, trying to make new friends when your life is about to radically change was like cool, and it was done quite well. So like, yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, it, like in the middle, it gets like a little, I don't want to say like too silly, but I think it loses the thread. But I think it ends really well. I think this movie has a quite strong ending. So, yeah, I don't want to say I like it better than the first one, but I think I like them about the same. Because I think this movie could have like fell on its face, but it executed like super well. And I think, well, I don't want to spoil it, but like at the end of the movie, how it kind of shows Riley's progression as a person and shapes her. I think it's great. I think it's done very, very well. So yeah, I quite like that. I will say I was surprised. I expected to not like this movie, and I quite like this movie. So yeah, it was good. How about you, Nando?
Yeah, I feel like out of the three of us, I'm definitely the one that has the least love for Inside Out 1. I think it is fine, but just the concepts never worked for me. This idea of like the emotions are emotions, and this one's Amy Poehler, and this one's the one from The Office. I get it. I understand why people like it. And I do think it would probably hit if I was a kid, or if I had a kid or something, I would be psyched to just give them this whenever they're like, you know, going through some stuff and be like, watch fucking Inside Out again and you'll learn how to be happy and safe or whatever. Don't go into buses. It's bad. And this one has a similar message of don't do stuff. I do think that like, I think this movie is aiming for a lot. Okay. I think there's parts of this movie I didn't love related to what was actually happening in the brain or whatever, the mind palace, and the what are we calling it in her zone?
The consciousness.
Yeah. Like the inside the consciousness stuff, I found a little much, especially because it felt very similar to the other one. to the point where a character was like, we'll just do what we did last time. Oh no, there's a wall. We can't do it again. Let's go through a bunch of other shit. And I thought it was fine. But like I thought the outside of the mind stuff I found more compelling and at least like kind of interesting, watching the emotions interact with all this stuff where it was like the mechanics of this world. It's just too complicated. And it's I kind of want a movie where they're all just at the keyboard the whole time, just playing around, but doing whatever it is their job is. But they can't do that because it doesn't make any sense because, you know, none of this makes sense. But overall, I liked it. I think it was pretty good. I agree. It's probably in the upper tier of the Pixar sequels. I mean, it's better. I've never seen Finding Dory or Monsters U, so I've heard those are like less good than the original. I have seen you know, obviously Incredibles 2 stinks, and the Cars ones are all probably about as good as the first Cars one. You know, they're all great. But so
false. Cars is
no.
Cars is like the
two is worse than 1.
2 and 3 Cars is awful.
I've heard
yes.
2 is horrible and 3 is about the same as Cars 1.
And we're saying that about 2,
sure, I'll
the
take
one
that.
with Michael Caine in it. That's horrible. Okay.
Also, having seen Finding Dory, I would say it's about the level of Monsters U of like not a bad movie, but certainly inferior.
That makes sense. Yeah. So none of them are quite where like Incredibles 2 is, where you're like, this is worse in every way. Besides it's, you know, they're shaded better or whatever. So for that reason, I feel like this is definitely up there. I agree, or like, I think it doesn't hit the level of like Toy Story 2 eclipsing the sequel. But yeah, I found this movie for me being a movie where every time there was a lot of points where I was really into parts of it, and then we cut away to another thing and I was less into that. So like the experience overall I enjoyed, but I wish it had a bit more focus somehow. I don't know how to do it though, because it's such a complicated world and story to build a world around that, you know, it's pretty weird. Honestly, if they just made the fucking hockey movie, I'd love it. I think I would enjoy that pretty much. I don't think we need any of these emotions. Maybe Amy Poehler can be like a, you know, disembodied voice or whatever. But yeah, I found that part pretty compelling. What happened in it though, DJ? What was the story of the whole movie? You know, that's the question on everybody's mind.
The people
Obviously,
demand to know,
so,
DJ, and they demand that you not make a single mistake the whole time.
I was gonna say it's been a minute since I've done. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's been a couple weeks since I've done one of these. But I forget. Do I get interrupted every time I make a gaffe or a mistake?
You know,
yeah, that's our choice.
I did want to ask.
Well,
I just want to ask, what happens at the end of Inside Out 1? How directly does this connect to that? Because I haven't seen it in a while. But like, is that scene just the end of the first movie?
No.
Not one for one. No. But it is like she's becoming a teenager.
Like the puberty button doesn't spring out of the keyboard and then the keyboard explodes. Okay.
No, but
the puberty button gets installed and one of them's like, "What's this?"
Yeah,
but nothing happens with it yet.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, and that is the like logical conclusion following that. Like I appreciated we got this time around. But okay, so what if can we do the CNN presidential debate rules where your mics are muted when it's not your time or whatever? Is that,
I don't know.
Are we allowed to
I don't
do
know
that?
why you think you have control over this.
Yeah, I don't know if I can mute you guys.
Yeah,
you know what? No,
no,
can't.
please don't ruin this. Okay, so hey, Riley's back, and we open the movie with like a little flashback.
Hold on,
of the
Follows
past.
Riley is back. First of all, I just want to.
Sorry, Follows Riley is back.
Follows. But
we're off to a great start.
That's old Follows Riley for you.
I love Follows Riley. It's so dumb. Follows Riley. Is that even grammatically correct? Follows Riley in her quest to quell her emotions.
I mean, if it's a clause and not a sentence, then yeah,
it's lacking a
right.
subject of the sentence is the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so we're getting a little recap of Follows Riley. It's we see that she's good at hockey. We see her friends, the band she likes, her with her parents, and everything's going great. And we get I would say a reintroduction because it's been a minute since Inside Out 1 came out, maybe 7 or 8 years ish.
9, I think.
So we get a little
2015, I think, right? Was the year Inside Out came out?
Wow. they really held on to this one, huh? So
you mean, well, it's they hit the break glass emergency do a sequel to the movie everybody liked button that
so if you were 10 when this came out and like really resonated with you as a child, you're 19 now. I guess I guess you get your nostalgia.
You're showing it to your child, you know. Your 1 or 2 year old child gets to watch it now and get something from it, or maybe at least they quiet down for a couple hours and give you a moment of peace. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's fair.
You get to watch it with your child and your 27-year-old husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, so we're getting a little a reintroduction to the emotions of Follows Riley. And we got all of them, right? We got joy, we got anger, we got sadness, we got disgust, and we got fear. And some of those voice actors did not carry over, but you probably forgot about it.
Pixar is notoriously barely got any money, you know. They're just scraping it by together, keeping the lights on. So
Lightyear didn't do as well as they wanted to.
What are you talking about? It's the model for their success going forward.
Nando likes this one better because it doesn't have the one from The Office in it. That's his main criteria.
It has one of the Office ones, but not the other one
from The Office in it.
It has one of the Velmas in it or something.
Phyllis Smith, whose sadness is from The Office.
The Office.
Almost exclusively.
That's true.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant by the one from The Office. I mean, Mindy Kaling, I think we would now as a society call Velma. That's the role I think that has been attached to her. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying like here's the thing. I don't think if you went into a movie like this, you would call her the one from The Office, because it's like there's 15 people higher on the call sheet than Mindy Kaling for The Office.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know there was anyone else from The Office in this movie, so I was like, that must be Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
No, sadness. So we get a little reintroduction to all of them via a hockey game that Riley's in, and we get to experience all of the emotions: the joy of playing hockey, the sadness of getting a penalty, the fear of hitting someone, the disgust of taking the wrong mouth guard, and the anger of hockey. Which I would say, if you've ever watched a hockey game, it feels about 70-75% anger.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the most accurate shared human experience if you've ever watched hockey. So we got them all now. Follows Riley goes to bed, and overnight there's demolition inside Riley's consciousness. And the little blue guys, which I don't know what the blue guys are supposed to represent.
Fucking God or something. I don't know, man.
They're like the blue collar operators of Riley's
guys. Because
they're the cops.
Mm-hmm.
They're the construction workers. The guards. I guess that's also
they're the cops that seem to be able to be ordered around by the emotions. Unless you're the emotions they are following, and then you can't say, "Hey guys, I'm one of the emotions." Then they just would arrest you. I don't understand. But
a couple of logical gaps in this movie, but it's fine. That's what we're here to mostly nitpick. And there's a new console that gets installed, and with the puberty button, right? I guess the puberty button that was there, it like pops off.
Yeah,
alarm. Yeah. So that's what popped off, and then there's a new console. And then with this, do we get all of? So we don't get the new emotions yet. What we do get is when Riley wakes up, when all the emotions touch the console. The Follows Riley's emotions get set into overdrive. So like sadness is like, I'll do a light touch of sadness, and Follows Riley just starts sobbing. And then anger's like, I'll just do a little bit of anger. And she's like, I'm so angry. And it's like, our little girl's a teenager now. The parents are like, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But kids be kids, right? We've all
been there, and we all know when you snort a big line of cocaine, the console gets so big, and all the things are like pressing it with little tiny sticks, and you're still flying up into the air with rage. And they're like, "We tried so hard last time, but he keeps getting arrested. What are we going to do?" I just really like this universe, and I don't think here's the thing. I don't think there should be more funny things done with this universe. I don't want to see more. Like, I want a shitty version of this universe to exist by DreamWorks where they just do everything. Like, I want to see what the dogs one of these is. Like, it could be a new theme park next to Dark Universe, the Universal Universe. Like, and it's just inside and it's all the ones that are like, I don't know. Like, it would be What would it be? Because this one does a lot of things where it's like brainstorm, bad dream, but I want like manic episode. What does that look like? I was going to say,
well, you want to do the Osmosis Jones version of this. Instead of being in a young, healthy brain, we're in a messed up older guy's brain. Yeah. He's just like having a mental breakdown.
We could be in the MCU. We could get Krylar, Bill Murray back, and then we could do this in his head. Ant-Man could go back into Krylar's head. I think he dies in that one, but whatever. We'll do that.
So we can meet the new, the new emotion, cucking.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be embarrassment, but embarrassment is like into it now or something, right? It would be embarrassment and disgust having sex in the corner, right? Those two emotions.
Oh my god! So I can sketch this out, guys. We're gonna make so much money. But Universal, turn your ears off. This is not for you here. So I think we do this in the Minions universe.
Oh,
so we start with Gru,
for sure.
Right? Like or do we start with the kid or we start with Gru? Like how far up do we go?
I've never seen a Minion, so I assume Gru probably has too much shit going on. We probably have to use one of the kids, but
okay. So we start with Kid. So Kid's our first movie. Then we do Gru. Then we do Gru's wife, and then we do the Minions. We go minion by minion. We do Dave. We do. I literally don't know any of the other. I think I don't even know
Gary.
Dave
Probably.
Might be wrong. Sure, Gary. Yeah, and then we just go minion by minion down the line, and then I think we do Gru's arch nemesis, and guys, like 10 of these movies.
Or something. I think is his name, or the one from South Park.
As well
there's a bunch of them. They made so many. Will Ferrell's in the new one. I think he's the new bad guy. Seen him promoting it a lot this week.
I think he's an old bad guy.
I saw.
Oh, really?
Who's come back?
I think he's like returned or something. I saw a fucking trailer, or it might have even been in the Inside Out, but it was like I think Gru teams up with like a teenage girl and they do a heist or something.
That's
how movies go these days.
No. This girl is like a different girl. It's not one of his daughters. It's someone else.
Is it Aquafina? Is it like Kung Fu Panda?
I don't know.
Or the other movie that's like Kung Fu Panda?
Oh, sure. Probably, yeah. But there's a line in there where Gru is like, "Oh, you've got to watch out for the laser alarms." And then she's like, I don't take advice from boomers. Actual line in the movie. Is
this the character Poppy? Played by Joey King from The Kissing Booth? Yeah, that's about right. She's quite popular with the kids. By the way, I watched a video this week, and I don't want to completely derail things.
No, I love the derailment because it's
and you reminded me of this when you did your voice, and I think it's a podcast related thing. A long time ago, back before this was even mostly nitpicking, one of the guests that would pop on every so often was the Hey Arnold character Oscar. I saw on Twitter someone was sharing like some Oscar's greatest hits, and it's just him going like, "Bring me sandwich, wife, ha ha ha." That character's awful. Like, and I guess as a kid I was like, this guy sucks. But even as an adult, it's way worse than I remember. He was like stealing the change off the laundry machine. And that money doesn't go to like Walmart. That goes right into Grandpa's pocket. Like, those laundry machines are free.
Oscar was a real piece of shit.
He's awful. I think she divorces him, by the way, in one of the movies off screen.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
I believe before the second Hey Arnold movie. Big Hey Arnold fans can explain this to me, but I do think they separate. And she's living her best life now, and he's probably dead, I would imagine.
So you threw me way back. You threw me way back with the Oscar character because I totally forgot that Oscar used to make regular appearances on a different podcast. I want to continue this derailment just because I don't care. I'm piloting the ship. So I was listening to old Mad Bracket Status episodes when I was looking for like the Overwatch thing that I found our recap of it, which was like 13 minutes, enough for me to send to my cousin being like, here's some decade old Overwatch takes. And like, I forgot about all like the little things, like our news segment. Do you remember our news segment had like a little like sounder that was that introed it? Do you remember this? I mean, Diggins, as a loyal listener,
I kind of remember.
I was on sometimes.
And it was oh my god, it was. It's time for the news of the week.
Oh my god, you did do that. Now, DJ, did you listen to that old Overwatch thing before you sent it to your cousin to make sure you didn't say things like, and McCree's named after this one developer who's super cool and is a great guy that I try to emulate in my everyday life?
Yeah. Luckily, I think everything aged well because it was all in universe. We didn't touch the blizzard of it all, thankfully.
They didn't try to work that into his lore or something.
You were like, and Overwatch 2 is going to be even better because they have all these features that are going to be in it, like a single player mode, and like the maps are going to be way different and cooler, and
probably got that horde mode or something. I don't know. So
good.
Maybe. But I was just going in the Wayback Machine. May was very popular, apparently.
Yeah, she was.
Is that still the case? Is May?
I haven't played Overwatch in
no
a
one
while.
knows.
I assume the popular character is probably mostly May, or like Tracer, right? She was always like the main one.
Yeah,
well,
all the boxes.
Now hold on. When you say most popular, do you mean most people play her, or do you mean most people want to kiss?
The kissing one, I would assume. Because, I would say the one who becomes memes the most. And I would guess that would be either Tracer or May. I don't know.
I've never played this video game, so I defer to your greater knowledge.
Oh, it's all Nando. Yeah. He's the Jenny Nicholson of Overwatch on this.
No, we just all the Jenny Nicholson of something?
Well, all expertise is measured in Jenny Nicholson as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. That's yeah. So I think I'm summarizing a movie. But old Matt Bragg says episodes. There's gems there. We used to do a thing called Reckless Speculation, which was like a different version of predictions, but it was so good. This is good too, but that was good in different ways. Okay, so I think I've gotten so far 20 minutes into the movie,
if even.
If that.
Yeah. So They can't figure out how to work the new console, and now there's all these new emotions coming in. We meet anxiety, we meet embarrassment, we meet envy, and ennui, which most out there of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, ennui just wants to be on TikTok all day and doesn't give a shit about what you think, which that's not what ennui is, but I guess they had to name, like, they wanted a character who is just the bored, like, shit poster. And they just like,
I wouldn't say it's about shit posting so much as it's about detachment.
Sure.
It's a big teenage thing.
I mean, he's on that phone. You don't think he's shit posting?
Yeah, I would say she, but I honestly, who plays this one? I never looked this up.
Adele Exarchopoulos.
Oh, is that Adele's name? The singer, or is it somebody else?
That's right.
The Adele.
Nice. Way to go, Adele. Breaking boundaries, playing French people instead of English people.
Moving on up, huh?
Or whatever.
That's her range. That's her whole range. So we meet all these new emotions, and basically, very quickly, anxiety is running the show. She tries to like kind of be like a team player. It's like, oh, Joy, I look up to you. I want to work with you. Da da da. But really like anxiety, because anxiety is the planner and wants to make sure that Riley has a good experience at this hockey camp she got invited to. Anxiety's taking the reins. So a couple things should be a note that I kind of glossed over. One, there's this like sense of self now, which is this like, it looks like the model of an atom with like it's like the Jimmy Neutron logo. And it's like, this is Riley's sense of self, and it overrides the emotions, and it's like, it drives her. And what it is that she's a good person. That's like Riley's thing, is that she's a good person. And like all of the memories is like what makes this up.
All of them, DJ?
Yeah.
Right, sorry. All of the good memories, because Joy has been jettisoning the bad memories to the back of the mind. So it's like all these good ones. Like, I'm a good person. It's all my good memories.
And it feels like all the bad memories are just her like going like, hey, oh, sorry. And then that's it. Like there's a pile of those a mile wide, and she's purged that from her humanity. But Joy has, right? Yeah.
So thanks, Joy. Meanwhile, in the real world, so Riley got invited to a hockey camp. She's good at hockey, but her two best friends, who are like her comrades, they're going to a different high school because fucking districts, man.
Yeah, sucks.
What happened, Diggins?
You didn't fuck up anything. I was just shocked and appalled that she wouldn't get to go to high school with her two best friends.
Yeah.
live near them or whatever. I don't know how high school. I don't know.
Riley just cannot catch a break because isn't the first one that she moved to somewhere and she doesn't know anybody?
She moved to California.
Yeah,
hey man, they just gotta let this kid be somewhere for a fucking second, so she can make some long-term friends. That's her only problem. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it is. If you're a parent, you can't move your kid at past like kindergarten. You just can't.
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta
make those roots, dig them deep. Nah, no. I watched The Sign, Diggins. Amazing 28-minute long Bluey episode. That's true. Stay.
Yeah,
you stay there. That was the message I took away from The Sign: is that you don't get your good paying job and you stay for family. That's what The Sign taught me.
I didn't watch The Sign because I've never watched Bluey. Is that the message of The Sign, would you say?
Yeah.
It was my interpretation
of the movie Signs too. It's like, don't let the aliens take your house. You built that house.
You have to.
That's also
the message of Signs is you have to believe in Jesus to fight the aliens.
That's right. Jesus specifically, no other gods. Wink, wink. Says the star of that movie.
Jesus and water.
Water is
Jesus
most
and
important.
water.
Yeah. It's such a fucking stupid movie. I like that one. I would say out of all of his movies, that's like my third favorite. But it's insane.
Oh God! How did this pass our news of the week? Well, I guess it's not news, but I saw a trailer for that movie, The Trap.
The Trap.
You guys excited? You guys excited for that?
I mean,
movie?
like,
it's not quite the word.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so like,
I'm interested to read the Wikipedia summary.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a new universe, like Unbreakable. There might be a whole series.
Maybe
Traps.
he'll be the next guy that Unbreakable has to kill. Or well, no, Unbreakable's dead. He'll be the next guy that the Four Leaf Clover Society has to kill or something.
Yeah,
or maybe escape any trap.
Maybe it turns out he's a member of the Clover Gang.
Oh yeah,
and that's the twist.
Or maybe this is the kid from the old beach but grown up.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But
yeah, apparently they're making that Trap movie, and it's coming out.
I can't wait.
Also, I didn't realize this. We may have talked about this, but there's his daughter made that new movie, The Watchers. That
yeah.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
Probably be on VOD very soon. We should do that. That's probably going to be a real fun one.
Ooh, child prodigy, nepo success story.
I did already read the Wikipedia summary of that one because it had passed us by, and I didn't think we'd do it. But it sounds bad, so
I mean, it's based on a book, from what I understand. So, if anything, maybe it's probably like all the rest of these. It probably looks pretty cool and doesn't make any sense, and it's weird. But
like father, like daughter. Let's go.
She did a lot of DPing on old. Like she shot a lot of old herself. So like, that movie's great. So why wouldn't this one be great? Also, there's a new Mithrigan coming out. We didn't talk about that in news. I'm just looking through most of the nitpicking stuff.
8.
Solma 8, yeah, I like it.
Or Solma
sex robot now or
8.
something. Mm-hmm.
Solma 8.
Yeah.
Oh man, I refuse to summarize this movie. Okay, so anxiety. I think I said all the things. So anxiety basically decides to just like take over because she doesn't like the OG emotions. So she's got her crew who is subservient to her. So she takes the OG emotions, the 5 of them, and bottles them up and locks them in a vault. I do think
it's worth specifically stating Anxiety wants Riley to spend the summer camp trying to get on the Firehawks and impressing the older girls who are part of it, while Joy is more focused on having a good time with her 2 pals. And that's what Anxiety specifically is making her not do.
Right. And Anxiety specifically is saying, like, you guys are the old emotions. We don't need you anymore. So that's why they try to, like, shut them out. Is because they're, like, too simple.
Yeah, we're the new hotness. Yeah. And Anxiety understands the complexity of high school politics and that it's more important to make the new friends and dump 100%. Your old ones.
Anxiety, crushing
what anxiety.
Yeah. Keep going.
Anxiety has seen Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety knows what's going on. So now that the original emotions were kind of following them, their story through the mind. This is where we deviate from the consoles. This is like Nando's.
Yeah, this is the part where the movie becomes about navigating a series of tubes or something, and I just completely lose it. I don't know, something about the tubes.
Nando's like, "What is this? A movie about the internet?"
Yeah, it's like the worst movie. I mean, then we already saw that Wreck-It Ralph went through a bunch of tubes to get to the internet. That's what all these are now. They're just tubes.
He broke it.
Yeah, and they broke their tubes. Spoiler alert, the tubes don't work anymore or something. I don't know how they're going to get air and water into whatever it is they live in. But also, they have beds in here. They fall asleep. But they're not always asleep when you're asleep. Sometimes they're doing your dreams. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, right.
I don't understand these movies. Anyway, go on. Sorry. So they go through a tube.
So they get locked into the vault, and the vault is like where all of like the big suppressed things are. So we have a couple guys, we got a couple characters.
New Bing Bong, as far as I'm concerned, all of them just as good.
Well, I mean, none of them are Richard Kind, so that's a big demerit
none
against
of them.
them.
Are Richard Kind. They're gonna have a hard time being like in what was it, Imaginary 2, relating everything to fucking Ryu from Street Fighter or something. But they'll try.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be like, oh, who is it? Yeah. So yes, you have Pouchy, voiced by Ron Funches, which is gonna try and be my little.
Is he right? Pouchy, or is he the Dora figure that owns? I think Pouchy's a different thing. Like I think Pouchy is a different voice actor.
I think Ron Funches is the dog.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, my bad.
Probably
the name I cannot remember.
It's not Poochie. It should be Poochie because it got locked in the memory hole.
Right. So we're going with Poochie. So Ron Funches plays Poochie. Who? Wow, I would have gotten that wrong in the name game then. Who is this little little kid style character that is talking to the audience?
Wait. Do you want to know what his name actually is?
What
Bloofy.
Is it?
You get it? Like Bluey, but Bloof.
It's so close to it. That's what I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's not Bluey, but it's Bluey. They're going to get sued. Australia's going to come for him, man. And they got money.
I mean,
they got
it's not Bluey, though. It's Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer. Like,
right, yeah.
It's just the name is similar.
They want to just hit that SEO, you know? Yeah. Kids are searching for Bluey and accidentally type Bluefy.
That F in there.
Yeah.
So Bluefy is a children's cartoon character that is the very classic call and response, or it's like, where do you think we should look? And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Mickey Mouse has his little friend Toodles. Toodles has the tools, the Mouseka tools, so when we need them, Toodles will bring them. That's how Mickey and his Clubhouse gang get through all of their perilous adventures. I am steeped in this right now. So
they just fully ripped off Dora and the backpack and went, we got a backpack, our own backpack full of shit.
I don't know if I guess, because Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was 2006, so post Dora. So
go get him, Dora. Yeah. You got the legal standing as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a lawyer, but
so you didn't know this? You didn't know that like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse had their own
I just assumed this was fully doing Dora the Explorer. Like I didn't know anybody else would even try the gall to be like, we're gonna make our guy have a talking backpack full of the things you need. But I guess they thought they could get away with it. And they did.
They were right because they're Disney.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, and it's weird because like I didn't immediately think Dora just because I'm steeped in it, like it was my connection. Anyway, so Bluefy has Pouchy. Pouchy has the things you need to get through, and it's like they're showing off the things, and there were did you guys have any kids in your theaters when you saw this?
I kicked them all out when the movie started. I said, "Get the fuck, you guys go see the shark movie at home." And don't bother with this. That'll give you a lot more useful skills for life, as far as I'm concerned.
Did any of your kids do the call and response when it was like, say Pouchy? It was like, Pouchy. I had 3 who said Pouchy, which is 5. I legitimately thought funny. I was like, oh, that's great. So we meet them. We also meet the Deep Dark Secret, which is this giant hooded figure that is just Riley's Deep Dark Secret. And then we also meet, I can't remember the character's name, but he's basically, like Nando said, a Ryu-style Street Fighter character that was made in, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, polygon graphics.
I want to say, Lance Slashblade.
Yeah, that's it. Lance Slashblade.
Oh, good job. And he's a character that Riley still finds very attractive.
Or finds herself disgusted by how attractive he is or something, right? Because the disgust thing is attracted to it.
They explain this in the first movie. Disgust isn't just disgust. It's essentially whether or not Riley likes things.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. So, yes, huge crush on Lance. So I mean, they're literally in a jar that the big bad secret just breaks them out of, and because the dark secret's in there and he's huge, he just takes care of everything. Like the other guys help too, but it's mostly, in my opinion,
dog's a cop or something. He gets in the way if I'm.
No, guys. Correctly. Pouchy is what gets them out of the vault.
Yeah,
Pouchy he has the helpful. Dynamite, right? Yeah, Pouchy has also the dynamite.
Pouchy voice actor. James Austin Johnson, Donald Trump himself from all those TikToks and now the SNL.
Well, there you go.
Wow. How about that? So they break out, and now the part of the movie is like, it's the chase. So it's basically the emotions have to get back to Riley to make sure that anxiety doesn't take over. So, one thing I've heard, anxiety took the sense of self and shot it to the back of the mind. So the emotions have to actually go to the back of the mind, get the sense of self, and then go back to the console.
Right. With a different series of tubes.
Fetch quest.
Secret tubes that Joy installed the other day or something. So new that she has to explain them to the other emotions as she's using them. So,
yes, I forgot this is a fetch quest. So meanwhile, anxiety is making a new sense of self, but is a completely anxiety sense of self because all of the anxious emotions are like creating like the new sense of
core
self,
memories, right? Is what she's doing, and then she plants those, and then that creates a fucking world tree like from Avatar.
Yeah. And what I would just summarize this as, it is making Riley a bad person. She is like more selfish as hockey. She wants to like break into the coach's office and read her notes, right? It's like Riley's just like becoming evil. And as a device, I think this is fine.
I would say
anxiety makes you bad.
She's becoming anxious and full of self-doubt.
Well, yeah, I would say Diggins,
which makes her do
DJ,
bad things.
How does anxiety work differently from the other emotions? Because anxiety has a mechanism that I think is,
like the future sight?
Anxiety has Doctor Strange powers, basically.
Yeah.
You can visualize all the possibilities.
So she can see the outcomes, and she's
Doctor Strange's power was not actually literally future sight, but was instead just catastrophizing, then yes.
Maybe that is what it is, Maybe Doctor Strange just goes into a big, we never see the other anxiety, dreams that Doctor Strange had. Maybe it all would have been fine.
It's like, look, guys, I have this one outcome where we do beat Thanos, but Tony Stark's going to die, so it's not going to work.
What are the other outcomes, Doctor Strange? One is we try to shake hands and it doesn't work, and then you guys don't like me, and then we don't kill Thanos. One is I don't trip on my shoe, and it's like, all right, I don't think this guy's doing what he says he's doing. Wait, his name's Doctor Strange? How did we not see this coming? Why weren't we trusting him at all?
I do think it's kind of bullshit that only one person in the entire MCU is like, really, Doctor Strange? There was one reality where you won one. It had to happen this exact way. It sounds like fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I think you just wanted Tony to die.
Pretty sure.
You saw one and you're like, oh, let's go.
That's understandable, He's expensive. He costs $50-60 million these days. We get to replace him with Shang-Chi or whatever, and then it's much cheaper. So, we couldn't even... Bill Hader's breaking our budget. How are we supposed to make more movies if all the stars are expensive? It's not worth it.
What is Bill Hader the guy from? If we're like Mindy Kaling is Velma, or it's like Bill Hader the guy
SNL
from...
probably,
SNL
right?
probably still
I would say
he's big touchdown.
I mean, you could...
Not Barry.
Yeah, Barry actually.
That's
probably.
A good point. That's a great point. Or
what's his biggest SNL character?
The news person?
Stefan? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, Stefan.
Yeah, I think if someone said Stefan, that would help. But
Barry might.
I think Barry's higher now, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
The only problem with Barry is if someone said Barry, the guy from Barry, Barry. In my head, I might think it's the other guy who says the name Barry a lot. Really funny. I like the, so that's the only trouble with Barry. But yeah.
Anxiety is using future sight to basically plan for every outcome. It's just making Riley a more anxious person. So, the ins and outs of how the emotions like get the core, like Riley's sense of self and then back to the console. Like, I don't want to gloss over it, but it is like this middle part of the movie where I don't want to say that nothing happens. I would say, like, for the kids movie, a lot of like the kids stuff is in it, right? Like the sarcasm scene, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? Or like all of the weird different actions with like the vacuums and sucking up the memories.
Right, there's like
and,
a lazy river or something at one point.
The
stream of consciousness,
right,
ha 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 ha. Right. Oh, Riley sure is hungry, right? A lot of that stuff is in here, which, like, I'm not faulting the movie for it. It's a kid's movie, but it's not plot driven.
Do kids give a shit about the pun stream of consciousness? Like, is a 2-year-old watching that movie going, oh man, I never thought about it like that, but it could be a stream. You know, I feel like that's for adults. And for that reason, I'm like, you wouldn't make this complicated.
I think it's just more for the action, right? Because, like, while a movie where they're at the console the whole time might be better for us, like, it's not good for kids. Kids need like an adventure.
Oh, sure. Movie. Yeah. And you know, it's the problem with all of these is that not almost all the Pixar movies, but so many of the Pixar movies are like, we have this cool thing that we work at and it's good. Oh man, we all got ejected from the cool thing and now we have to fuck around for a bit, you know? Like Monsters Inc. is kind of that, Toy Story's that, Finding Nemo's that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like there's bits in it that aren't bad. Like there's the one, I think this is closer to when they actually get back, but they're going through one of like the lands, because Riley has these lands that are like
Imagination Land.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
but there's more than just Imagination Land. There's like Family Land, which the tiniest little island. Fuck you, Riley's family. You're just little tiny shit island.
Resolved?
I mean, that's just part of being a
family. Yeah,
you care more about your friends.
Fuck
I guess so. And then, what was the other thing I was gonna say? If you want to imagine what it looks like, if you haven't seen the movie, I would say go watch the Dark Universe video, and that's kind of what it looks like. Everywhere is like Dark Universe is Friendship Land, and then How to Train Your Dragon is Imagination Land and stuff. There's also a jail that's Memory Jail, that they escape from. That is just a vault.
That's where you put repressed memories.
Yeah. So that's the Dark Universe of this, I would say.
So like there's one part, right, where the emotions they get there, and like all of Riley's like imagination, anxiety is just like slaving him away, trying to make a think of like bad things that's going to happen, right? And then I should have put this on the wheel, but like this felt like was there like one person at Pixar? It's like, please let us out. Like, we are trapped here, working for a single god. And Joy like inspires them to like, no, make up happy things. Maybe happy things will happen. And like that was actually a fun scene. That was a scene that I enjoyed and thought was fun. But it's like a lot of these little vignettes, right? So then eventually they get to the back of the mine where the Joy finds Riley's sense of self, but there's no way back because the tubes have been destroyed. There's no more tubes.
Also, Sadness is in the tubes, and then she's at home hanging out with the pink one or something.
Yeah, they put her on the bench. Well, because she had to like recall them back from the tubes, but once the tubes are destroyed, it doesn't matter. She also kind of befriends embarrassment because they're kind of the same. Yeah, because they're the same. Embarrassment's kind of a good guy.
There's a couple emotions like that. Don't really need to, but yeah.
Yeah, might be envy and disgust or some overlap.
Totally understand that. And yet, instead of having one of them be hunger and one of them be strength, like would be cool, they did this.
Or love. So the only way to get back now is they have to call back their old guy Pouchy, and they have to get a bunch of dynamite, and then they have to break like the dam where all of the bad memories are that have been jettisoned back to the mind by Joy, because Joy has a revelation. It's like Riley is all of her memories, not just the good ones.
She's just like, this is the only way back, so we just got to do it.
Yeah, at one point a character's like, is this going to like kill Riley? And she's like, fuck if I know, otherwise we're going to die. So we don't have a choice, buddy. We have to blow up her brain somehow. Figure out in therapy what just happened. You know? She just remembered every bad thing that's ever happened to her at once.
Yeah, well, I think it's literally called a flood of bad memories.
You guys have that, right? Where every single day you have at least a few moments of every day where you remember every bad or embarrassing thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah, my brain has to stop playing with the fucking dynamite, because every day...
Shoot that shit
every day
back.
We build new tubes, and every day somebody's messing with dynamite in the back there.
Yep.
So they get pouchy to just like slam that dam with dynamite, blow it up, ride the flood of bad memories back to Riley's core. And then I guess skip some of the real world Riley stuff. As I mentioned, Riley's being kind of a bad person. But there's an exhibition game where it's like, this is your tryout to get onto the Firehawks. And Riley's like, I am full heel. My hair is red like all of my friends. My new friends, my old friends suck. I hate them. And I am now this new person. And she like, Riley got a penalty for what I thought was a very clean forecheck.
For sure.
Forechecking in hockey is very legal. And as long as you don't go for the neck or head area, you're fine. So Riley gets a solid forecheck on one of her former friends, and she gets put in the penalty box for this. And I'm like, Coach, what a bad call, right? It's not even roughing. It is a clean forecheck.
I do feel like in teenage high school ice hockey, they're probably a little stricter about how much you can fuck up the other people.
Diggins, it was a clean forecheck. She didn't drop her glove. She didn't punch. She didn't go for the head. She got her in the chest and just like...
That would have been happening if not anger. I guess strength was one of them. He just takes over and turns into a fucking Rocco Sock'em robots and beats all the girls. That would be pretty cool. There's always room.
There's a YouTube rabbit hole you could go down of amateur hockey fights where it's just like insane. Where it's like, they're still teenagers. It's like 18, 19-year-olds in amateur hockey, and they're just ready to kill each other. I don't know why we let people play this sport. They're skating on knives.
Skating on knives.
They're on knives.
There was some show that could display how dangerous that would be, you know? Maybe we'll get to it later.
It's less deadly than football.
That's true.
Yeah, fair enough. So Riley gets sent to the penalty box on a bullshit call, in my opinion, but this kind of sends her spiraling. And she's like anxiety. So the Riley gets flooded bad memories. All the OG memories are back, and anxiety is now like white knuckling the console and is like what's trying to basically simulate a panic attack. And Riley is like freaking out in real life. Joy is able to like, you gotta let go, anxiety. It's you gotta let go. And I guess just kind of frees up anxiety from the console. By just the force of will. And then Riley's friends come by and be like, hey, Riley, you look like you're freaking out. You okay, girl? And then Riley kind of calms down.
You missed a very key part of this that you tried to put earlier.
I always do.
Yeah.
I always do. Oh, right. Joy has a revelation that Riley's memories are all of her memories, right? It's not just the good ones or the extra ones. It's all of them. All of them is Riley. And at some point, I guess after the panic attack, it makes like this new...
That's how the panic attack ends, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. So throughout this new sense of self-anxiety made, it's just Riley telling herself, I am a bad person.
I'm not good enough.
I'm a bad person.
Not good enough. Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Sorry. I'm not good enough. So repeating in her head on repeat, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And then
it's not a relatable experience at all.
Yeah.
As Riley's able to kind of like incorporate all of the memories, it's like big flood of memories. There is the not duality. It's like the multiplicity of experience that you have, right? Like, I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. I'm not good enough. I'm nervous. I hope everyone will like me. What if everyone thinks I'm a loser? And like, these are all kind of shaping where it's like, oh, it's very complicated to be a person, especially a teenager, and how you kind of grow into that experience of feeling all of these emotions besides just, I'm a good person or I'm not good enough. You feel everything. And that was cool. That was a cool thing that happened.
Mm-hmm. And then her friends come up to her.
Right. And they'd be like, you good, dog? She's like, I think I'm good, dog. And she's like, sorry I forechecked you. It was clean, but I'm sorry I did it.
She puts it a fair bit more conciliatory than that.
Well, the coach is watching.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right now. In the locker room, like Riley's like, that was clean, right? Like you saw it was clean. Playing sport, playing hockey. Like, let's go. So that's mostly the movie. Riley's all good now. All the emotions are like, we're in it together. It takes all of us. And Riley is like on the Firehawks with her new friends, but also her old friend. Oh, yeah, man. She makes, okay. So she's in the high school with her new friends. They're waiting for the coach's message to, will she make the team? Riley checks her phone and her face like lights up, like it beams up. How the fuck did she not make the team? No one makes that face for you didn't
maybe she was having second thoughts. She reads the message and it's like, I'm going to have so much free time. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it says we're moving back to where we were in the first movie, where we started or something. It's just like, great. I have other friends there. I don't have to. It's not as competitive of a hockey market, so I'll be able to rise to the top.
In Minnesota?
Oh, yeah.
I know, like Minnesota, I was going to say, is the most competitive of hockey markets.
San Francisco hockey market's got to be pretty competitive. Like, I feel like those are the parents that spend a lot of money.
But like, I guess in the sense that most of the parents there are probably rich. Yeah. They can afford to live in San Francisco. If they're going to do it, they're doing it pretty hard. But there's probably a lot fewer people who are doing it hard.
I think that's accurate. True. Yeah. Like Minnesota, just kind of that. It's like part of that, you're near Canada. It's cold a lot. It's just kind of like part of the culture, right? Where it's like hockey. There aren't a lot of spots in America. It really is like, it's like Minnesota, like the Midwest and like the Northeast, but like the Northeast, like where it's cold all the time. Like that's the hockey cells in like America. And that's like mostly it from what my understanding, where our 3 good hockey players come from. The rest of them are all Canadian. So I'm going to say, guys, this was the worst summary ever done.
Oh yeah.
That's a competitive category.
And the other ones are probably against me, but I boofed it so hard. But in my defense, I saw the movie like 3 days ago and it was early in the morning and I didn't sleep through the movie, but I glazed over a lot of those middle parts. I turned my brain. Listen, it was great. Michelle and I, we dropped Jackson off at daycare. We were off because it was Juneteenth. So we went to the movies.
Wow. So you took Juneteenth off, but you didn't let your daycare have Juneteenth off?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, I'm paying for it, right? Wow. So they love Jackson so much. They love him.
Yeah, they're not just saying that because you're giving them money.
They love him. So we got some IHOP for breakfast and then we went to see Inside Out and like I was full, but I was awake, but it was so long ago and it was just, I just didn't remember a lot of those little bits.
How about this?
Switch
Diggins,
the brain
you want to
off.
play a game? Name things DJ didn't even kind of touch on that happened in this movie. They're pretty significant.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll start with Joy has a pretty like big like meltdown a little bit. I'm going to say roughly 2/3 of the way into the movie where she snaps at all the other emotions for constantly criticizing and complaining without helping.
I thought I kind of glossed over that when I talked about the journey back. It's like Joy is a bit of a breakdown.
It's weird though, the way that it happens.
It is kind of out of nowhere. Like Randy Orton RKO.
I think the pressure had been building.
I guess more the resolution of it's the part that I find very strange, considering how it starts. But we'll get to it. It's a wheel slice. How about this? At one point, the for surviving emotions, not sadness, commandeer a hot air balloon and fly it into a fucking tornado.
That's true.
Or something.
Yeah, the brainstorm.
And then they land.
That was the middle
somewhere.
part. They said,
I don't remember where. It might be closer or further.
That's how they end up in the back of the mind.
Right. And then how do they get? Yeah. Right. Because they were going to use the tube to get home.
They get pulled up to the tube, but they don't go in the tube. The idea does. And then they float down on Fear's parachute, and they're basically just a short walk to the big pile of memories.
Were they trying to take the idea into the tube? Was that their goal?
It was just to get out of the storm.
Oh, okay. That seemed like a way that they could have solved the problem.
But they didn't have the sense of self yet, so.
Yeah, but they could have killed all the bad emotions and then just taken over, and then just do all the shit you were going to do with tubes from before.
That's some good thinking.
Right.
Get the control of the police back and use that to enforce your will, like these emotions seem to be able to do.
Riley, anxiety tries to convince Riley to go steal the coach's notebook so that she can learn how she's going to do. Sadness briefly stops this by stealing Ennui's remote control of the console. But then anxiety finds her and makes her go through with the theft.
Truly no effect on the plot.
Yeah. I think it's important to the metaphor.
Nothing. Okay.
It's interesting, too, because it's weird. If you're the teacher, well, we'll get to it. So I do want to get into a little bit more of what her hockey performance means for this character's life.
Yeah. Look, it's ripe for nitpicking because it's a kids movie, and maybe I did miss some summaries. And I said this is probably the worst one I ever did, but I think
the other thing I wanted to bring up is the kids are all roughhouse or goofing around, and they keep getting Riley in trouble. This is a fact that gets thrown out immediately in the movie, and Riley is like kind of, oh, who should I pick? Who should I hang out with? But like, it is clear not only that she will probably not be able to hang out with the popular children, she will get sent home if she hangs out with her two goofball friends.
To be fair, they do that a little bit at the start.
Right, exactly. And then they don't forget about it.
And then they don't seem to be goofing off anymore from that point forward.
Yeah.
Which, again, we might talk about this later. I think that coach was being pretty harsh in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
The coach was out of line. But yeah, no, there's also a point where Riley, in order to fit in, pretends she doesn't love her favorite boy band, which also alienates her from her old friends. And she said she's being super sarcastic and being like, I love the boy band. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that part was like weird. I said, Riley being a bad person. All tracks.
Yeah, I guess that's most of it. The only other thing I think visually is important is the sense of self gets replaced by a spiky orange evil sense of self. That you're supposed to be like, this is the bad corrupted one. But that's just because anxiety starts putting the core memories into the thing. It's weird. I don't think this was not in the last one, right? The sense of self thing?
No, this is a new thing.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused about what the memories were. Because wait, what happens to the memories that go into the shelves?
Those are the ones, well, they like pull the lever and put them in long-term memory. So like those are the things that she's going to remember about her life.
How is that different from the ones in the box or in the pile?
In which pile?
So the memories that get sent to the pile of the bad memories, right? Yeah.
That's like she doesn't think about them. She doesn't remember them.
Right. But then the resolution at the end is like, you need to have all your memories together if you're going to be a person or whatever. But that doesn't count the ones in the shelves.
Well, Joy had already been picking like the best one of those to put in the sense of self. So then the idea is at the end, all these really good memories and feelings, etc., get mixed in with all these other like negative ones. All that combined together makes the sense of self.
Interesting.
I get what you're saying, Nando. Like, when Joy's like, send the rest to long term, where are those going?
Yeah,
going to long term memory.
Get into the pool.
That's not the pool, though, right?
Yeah. Like, why is the memory of you waving to someone and then not them waving back to you for some reason necessary for your sense of self, but your memory of Bing Bong is not, or something? Like,
well, listen, normally you wouldn't put all of those memories in sense of self. They were just in a pretty unique situation.
Yeah.
You just got to put some negative memories in there.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. That's pretty much it. The only other thing, they managed to capture the memories, and then they capture Blue again and put her in a fucking tube suspended over all the guys. Like,
it's not a tube, it's a little bucket.
Yeah. They are not fucking around. Mostly anxiety. The rest of them are like fucking around. Actually, they're doing nothing but fucking around. But anxiety is like taking over. It's pretty cool.
Nothing anyone here can relate to.
Right, yeah, nothing at all. Where does this one leave off? What's the last scene besides post-credit scene? But like, what's the last?
It's just her having dinner with her parents, I think.
Okay. There's no like tease at future stuff where like.
Oh wait, no. Technically, the last thing is what DJ was saying, where she opens up their phone to see the hockey announcements, and she makes a face, and that's the end of the movie, baby.
Right. Okay. Cool. So I think that's it.
All right.
For the summary. I think you did a fine job. I think you got all the stuff that mattered.
Thank you.
And maybe that's something about this movie. I don't know, but we'll see. Because we got a wheel.
DJ did a terrible job.
I did do a terrible job.
Things that mattered.
I did do a terrible job. I probably did the worst summary ever.
DJ, in order to fully model the lessons you should have learned from these two movies, I want all that negative self-talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. I did a bad job, but not the word. It doesn't matter. I did a bad job. Also, most tangents ever. This is a lot. What I took an hour? I took a really long time to do this summary.
That's not the longest summary by a long shot.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah. But Well, we talked about a lot of great things in it, like Bluey and stuff. So we got a lot. We had a lot to cover.
I would say watch The Sign, but it really doesn't make sense if you haven't watched any other Bluey episodes. But it's great. Great.
The M. Night Shyamalan episode of Bluey.
Oh, it's probably a really good one. What is it like? Bluey wakes up and it's like. Actually, there's one episode where it's self-aware that Bluey is a cartoon. There's one episode. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
With Deadpool?
No,
or
it's
She-Hulk?
like there's Ambush
Bug.
There's a
it's Australian, so it's Ambush Bug.
Nice.
There's a sock puppet that the sock puppet becomes self-aware and realizes that he's a sock puppet being controlled by Bandit the father. And Bluey's like, that's like so silly. How do I know that I'm not being controlled? And then Bluey goes to sleep, and then we zoom out and we see like the animator panel like animating like how Bluey will wake up, and then hits play, and then Bluey wakes up and goes, wow, what a weird dream. So a little bit like a wink and a nod.
Something's gonna have to happen to him. I want this dad to go insane or something. Just start taking members of his family hostage, seeing if that makes the animator stop, like in the Truman Show. Gotta get a reaction from someone. He says enough slurs, Disney will pull the show, that's for sure. And it's Australia, so we can get away with some weird ones. I promise.
Because it's animated, then it just ends up like Duck Amuck.
Yeah, that's true. That wouldn't work either.
There's actually an episode that Disney has refused to put on Disney Plus that
because the dad gets pregnant.
Because the dad gets
the one
pregnant
with Saudi Arabia. Oh, maybe that was involved somehow. That happens.
So the Bluey creators just put it on their YouTube page for free. So good old.
So if you guys want to see a male dog get pregnant, you know where to go.
And also,
if you want to see some good
web comics, yeah.
just search on YouTube. Go type in Bluey Mpreg. You'll find it.
Stop it! The nightmare.
And if you're real nasty, go and look up Bluefy Mpreg. That is much worse. But speaking of wheels, there's a lot of wheels in this movie. There's like a lot of fucking gears spinning to make other gears go and stuff.
A lot of blue collar
also
workers.
Dials.
Yeah,
a lot of blue collar workers with little accents. Whatever, it's fine.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Where is France? Is France its own place?
Ooh, yeah. Why is ennui French?
Yeah,
Do you think do French emotions? Is their ennui not French? To differentiate it from the others?
I don't know.
Oh, dude, this is so lame. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's bullshit. I don't want to do that, governor. Also, their ennui would have to be like 10 feet tall, like the Hulk, just picking up all the other emotions and eating them. Right? Like, just certain societies, I feel like, have a different emotional balance than Riley might. But, good for her, I guess. But yeah, wheels. I got so many wheels. I'm going to spin the wheel.
Okay.
Right? Here we go.
I
Spun it. Lands on one of Diggins'. This one just says, Dads, am I right? So this is something from the end of the movie, but also something from the beginning. But do you want to explain this one?
I'm not sure what the beginning one you're thinking of is, but at the end of the movie, after all this like really insightful emotional work where we're like really delving into like this extended metaphor for anxiety and like accepting all parts of yourself, how everything's important, whatever, we do the gag of seeing the parents' emotions again, where the mom, because ennui handles telling them how camp was, and she's just like, it was good, which I thought was kind of a good joke.
Yeah, it was funny.
But the mom's like, oh no, she's not explaining, and then her little anxiety comes up, and then we go to the dad, and they're like, she's not explaining. Oh, well, better watch the game. Am I right, fellas? Emotions? Pfft, none of that, thank you. We're men. We're just dads. Am I right here? Just dads being guys.
What do you think his mind palace is like? Has Family and Friends Island been paved over for like Baseball Statistics Island and stuff? Like, just all the memories are him watching a game, and he remembers watching that game, and that's like watching highlights for him. He doesn't know the names of anybody in his family. It's all football for him.
I think so. I think that's got to be it.
What a true Chad that man is.
Yeah.
Really. This is a hero.
I was going to say the beginning thing with him was the gag where Riley goes off to camp And this isn't the same thing, but the mom, he's like, I got the kids are all away for the weekend. What are we going to do, honey? And she's like, yard work. And he's like, ugh. You know, so one of those little jokes.
True. Yeah, that is in the same line of like, haha, parents. Oh, men and women. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Am I right, fellas?
I'm gonna be. My goal is to be. Did you guys ever see Coda?
Yeah,
which one's Coda?
The one that won the Oscar somehow.
Oh yeah, right. The fisherman.
Because it was so late in the calendar. My aspiration is to be like that dad. I just want to be fucking awkward.
Deaf?
No, where he was like
Oscar winning.
That, but he like the overtly sexual nature where he's like signing to the son and
always,
be like, you fucking put a condom on, like you just have sex with my daughter, and like to the daughter, it's like, I fuck your mom so much because she's fucking hot. Look at that ass. Look at your mom's ass. Fucking hot.
They do.
That's how you're going to talk to your son?
Tap that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have an opportunity to become that, DJ.
Yeah, this isn't hypothetical.
Look,
we'll check in a year and see how it's going, I guess.
All I'm saying is, you got this in Pixar, in all these movies, right? It's like, oh, God, so lame. But it's like, you could be cool parents where you just like the French, like ennui probably. You just like talk about fucking, right?
Yeah.
Listen.
Talk about how Jesus fucks.
That dad was experiencing the horniness emotion. I think we're very clear. This is a dad who fucks.
Well, but the mom who like, not
she
right,
wants to do chores instead of cool sex with dad. You know,
but like in Coda, both parents that was the dynamic. Both parents were like, yeah, we fuck, we fuck. Feels good.
You know, DJ, you can only control half of that equation.
No, that's true. That's true. I'm talking to be like, yeah, like Michelle's down the clown.
Yeah, let's both become weirdos, you know? Honey, don't listen to the podcast this week.
I know I
made a lot of promises.
Yeah, she totally listens. All my friends and loved ones listen to this podcast, definitely. They all support me.
It's worth the 3-hour runtime. It's worth it.
Absolutely. And we always stick the weird stuff right around here. So, like, you have to listen to at least the whole thing.
That's true. Yeah. It's
more than half of it.
You can't find it on the ends, right? It's like smack dab in the middle. I assume this is the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. I would say that's about the middle.
Probably.
What else?
Historically.
Unless we decide so.
The dad wanted to have sex and the mom wouldn't let him. Maybe she's into that. Maybe maybe her fetish is like, you know, painting the walls or something, you know?
Maybe she meant painting the walls with cum.
Yeah, okay. Maybe.
So, you know,
that's in the Shrek version.
Diggins.
The DreamWorks one. Without a doubt.
DJ, if you want to be the father who's going around talking frankly about how much sex you have with the mom, you can't be reacting like this when I talk about cum.
You took it too far. And you always take it too far. With Dan Aykroyd, with... I don't know. Sure, there's other examples. They're mostly Dan Aykroyd. Actually,
Dan Aykroyd, the man who invented cum and has, you know, pioneered it in ways that no one in the ghost or human community has before.
DJ, if you can't frankly talk to your son about cum, then you are failing as a father.
There's a line, and you crossed it. You always cross it. You're always crossing this line.
Why are you so ashamed of the human body, DJ?
I get uncomfortable. Now my embarrassment is flaring up, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Just get very embarrassed talking about cum.
Yeah, I guess.
And I think that's a shared, DJ. No, that's a shared human experience.
We all do it.
Apparently, you know. And how do we do it? What does it look like? Who's in charge of the little computers? It's up to you, you know?
Oh, no.
Maybe it's the pink one. Maybe it's the blue one. Maybe it's the light blue one. Who knows?
What do you think it looks like?
Yeah, I don't know.
In the brain when that's going on.
I bet it's like a bunch of them are doing other stuff at the panel, and then everybody waits, and then Joy just comes in with the dunk. Just boom, and the whole thing explodes.
Yes, it's Joy like definitely does come in.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actual nightmare fuel. This is awful.
I can spin the wheel. I'll spin the wheel.
Yeah, man. Why not? We ain't got nothing else going on.
It landed on one of mine. This is just a little note for Riley. Hey, Riley, maybe get over this broccoli thing. In high school, you know, it's just broccoli.
I did think that. Yeah, broccoli's good. Okay,
yeah, it's like the best one.
Broccoli's good depending on how you prep it.
I liked broccoli as a child.
Me too.
I was like,
I never got
this is a good vegetable.
Yeah. Spinach, on the other hand, I get. Like, as the meme vegetable, throw that one away.
Spinach, to this day, I kind of have to force myself to eat.
Yeah. Really? I like spinach. I'm so down with spinach.
I like a Brussels sprout.
What spinach? Do you like spinach by itself? Like, because I feel like spinach makes its way into a lot of stuff too, like spinach dip and stuff like that.
I'm talking about like when you just got spinach. That's when I have trouble.
Like a side of spinach. Like I got my side of spinach. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good, homie. I like it. I like spinach. I do.
Okay, rank the 3 meme roast vegetables: broccoli, spinach, Brussels sprouts.
It's easy for me. Spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Bang, bang, bang. Easy. Yeah.
Wow. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, spinach for me.
Really? I think I'm with Nando on this.
Yeah. Broccoli's great.
See, I get putting broccoli in the top spot, and like that's probably like the outlier. Like I'm the outlier in that one. My thing with broccoli is like it's a lot about the prep. You can fuck up broccoli. I mean, you can probably fuck up spinach too.
You can? Oh my god! If that's true, I'm definitely fucking it up then because I'm not good at cooking stuff. But
like when you guys have broccoli, you just like raw dog and
steam
broccoli. Yeah, but like
I usually steam it. I do eat. I have in my life eaten raw broccoli and been fine.
Yeah, raw broccoli's fine.
But like steam it, but also like a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of like olive oil or something like that, right?
Sure.
Just salt, honestly. Salt and some steam, that's usually good enough for me. You know?
What's good is you take the steamed broccoli, put it in a bowl, throw some salt, pepper, teeny bit, like a teaspoon of like lemon juice, stir that up. Maybe just some olive oil. Mwah. So good. The acidity really helps.
You know,
this is a Ratatouille podcast now.
Bit of lemon juice and something kind of person.
I think acidity has a value in certain dishes. That
I think it has a value, but like it's too easily overpowering for me.
Interesting. Do you find like you have a sensitivity to things that are like overly acidic, or even with things with a little bit of acidity?
I don't know about that. I am very sensitive to bitter tastes. I can tell you that.
Interesting. Okay. So you wouldn't be like a hops guy.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I'm not either. I don't like, I get like IPAs. And if you're listening to this podcast and you love yourself a good IPA, God bless you, sir, madam. Like
probably those dads, right? That want to have sex instead of
they love
IPAs.
That's where I know crossover.
That say like, I don't talk to me until I've had my IPAs. You know?
Did you see the short between this movie and the last one where the dad bonds with the boy over classic rock?
Oh yeah,
I didn't see that. What is the deal with that? We should talk about that.
It's just like the boy from the end of the first movie is Riley's going like roller skating with him and some other people, so he stops by the house and the parents are like, "Who's this boy?" And we see their emotions, like trying to figure out all this. And the dad's, again, being like super stereotypical dad of like, who's this boy who wants to take away my little girl from me, you 12-year-old piece of shit?
These are Bad Boys. They watch Bad Boys too, and they did that.
Exactly.
It's a popular movie. I understand why they'd want to emulate it. It's doing quite well.
Not as well as Inside Out, though.
Not as well as Inside Out, no.
Not as well as
Inside definitely, Out. Pretty well. Better than Imaginary. So somewhere in between Imaginary and Inside Out, you get Bad Boys 4. So if you want to think about what kind of movie to make, that's like the chart.
Your favorite follows Riley's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Broccoli's okay. I also don't think hunger feels like it's an emotion. I feel like hunger is a whole different part of the body that's tummy or something.
Well,
I feel like there's other guys.
I mean, everything you feel is in your brain. Ultimately.
No, hunger's in my tummy. I'm a Nando.
Hunger's like coal. It's shoveling coal. It's not there's no decisions being made. I don't know.
Like crave. If crave was an emotion, I would buy that. Like, I'm craving.
Well, that's what it is, right? She was hungry, so she was thinking about food.
I just want someone in the console being like, guys, we're eating fucking ice cream today, all right?
Yeah.
I'll kill anger. I will put you in a locker. We're eating ice cream today. And they're like, guys, Crave's on one today. Let's hear him out, all right? Let's just Crave wins.
So you think craveability would be a big like factor in your decision making?
Yeah, I do. I think so.
I feel like if the next Inside Out is sponsored by Taco Bell, Crave will be an emotion.
Well, but it'd be White Castle, right? Because of the Crave case. Or no, Taco Bell's also Crave. Are they both Crave?
Well, Taco Bell is what you crave. White Castle is the crave case.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, White Castle is what you crave. Taco Bell is like think outside the bun or something, right? Isn't that?
I can promise you, White Castle is not what I crave.
Well, that's what so White Castle has that. That's their slogan. They invented it in a commercial in 1995, apparently, according to this.
Taco Bell has the Taco and Burrito Cravings Pack, so they're also in the crave game.
I mean, they're run by the same company, right? These things are like...
Oh, right. Nothing's individual.
I was just trying to keep it realistic, because the idea that anyone would ever crave White Castle, the most vile piece of shit fast food ever invented, is crazy.
Listen, White Castle is not as bad as you think. All right?
Impossible.
I mean, White Castle has food that's like okay. I wouldn't say White Castle's that much worse than any of the other.
Yeah,
McDonald's
White Castle's right there with all of them.
Yeah, it's just smaller,
absolute bottom
and gross.
tier.
But
all right, rank your fast foods.
Get in the comments, everyone. Yeah.
No, rank them. Let's go, Diggins.
Yeah, which ones? There's so
all
many.
Of them. Rank them based on taste and how much they offend the homosexual community, and we'll just judge your values based on that. Because objectively, Chick-fil-A is the best one, but we can't like them. It's the rules. I understand that, you know, but it is the best. And anybody that tries to say otherwise is, you know, they're living in a fantasy land.
Look, Pete Buttigieg gave us the ability to like Chick-fil-A.
He gave us all the pass.
He did. He did. Because he represents the entire community on this one.
Absolutely, he does.
Somebody's gotta, you know. Yeah, no, White Castle. I agree. I think White Castle, because of the movie Harold and Kumar, and the sequel Howard and Kumar, all of those movies, I think, like kind of made White Castle seem like the grungy stonery one, when in reality that's all of them. Burger King is also the grungy stonery one. If anything, Burger King is worse than all the rest.
Taco Bell's also that as well.
I would think Taco Bell is the most stoner one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. In fact, the only one that in my head has that's not like a fancy one, like Chick-fil-A. For some reason, Wendy's has been able to rise above some of the rest of these. I don't know why, but they seem better than McDonald's and Burger King. But like, they're not, probably. They're probably the same. The Frosties, maybe? I don't know. It's the disgusting chili that no one eats. I don't know.
Right? I know people who don't mind that chili.
Yeah. They have their crave guy
DJ.
Has taken over and their brain is broken. it sent all their guys to jail, but the guy with dynamite wasn't there, and it's just ruining everything. Yeah. Like, hopefully another human being can intervene, because what's going on in that brain is not going to get fixed.
Yeah, I think the lesson we should all take from Inside Out 2 is if you want to fix your emotional problems, just repress the memory of a guy with dynamite.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's a
that's what winners do.
Apparently. I spun the wheel again, landed on one of DJ's. I guess you feel less joy as an adult. This was something you've been muttering ever since you started the podcast to yourself, but I put it on the wheel just for fun. Is that from the movie? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I think I forget when Joy has this revelation, but she kind of like is upset because things aren't working out with the crew, and then she's like, I guess you feel less joy as an adult, or as you grow up, not as an adult, but like as you grow up. And oh my god, just, you know, sometimes something's hit in a way you don't expect, and you're like, I'm sad now. And why'd you put it in the movie, Pixar? Why is it in the movie?
Now, I do think it's not meant to be taken as a thing that's true. It's just Joy in her low moment feeling like maybe it's true.
Yeah, I feel like all the adults that actually think that just went, damn it, the movie is right, and never kind of questioned it. But me, a smart person, was like, that's probably not what the movie's about, right? That can't be. Just like, you're sad now. Unless the only way that would be what the movie is about is if Riley went on like a shopping spree at the Disney store or something. And I'd be like, this is how adults get joy. Okay, I see what they're going for here. And then on the app, you can order all the products from your home, so it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
It is just one of those that, like, you put it in there and like it's like you can't get it out of your head. You hear it and you're like, it's there.
It's definitely meant to be a thing that the parents are like,
yeah.
To remind you of when it is, DJ, since apparently your feeble old man brain can't recall.
This isn't new information. We all know this.
It takes place after they find the sense of self, but when they're like, we don't have any way to get back and we don't know what to do.
Yeah. And it's like anxiety won this round.
Mm-hmm. Anxiety's doing, well, we'll get to it. But yeah, I do remember that sentence in the movie being like, this is the sentence that all the writers stood up and high-fived each other after.
Like, we nailed
one about the vision or whatever.
We got him, boys.
Yeah, what was every screenwriter quietly saying, fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Good for you guys, screenwriters. You're all going to be computers in a week anyway, so might as well take the wins while you can get them.
Get your yucks in now.
Yeah. I spun the wheel again. This one landed on one of Diggins's. Coach is a real piece of shit. Let's talk about the coach.
Yes, called too many fouls that aren't real.
And I mean, before that, trying to create some sort of like, I don't know, dog-eat-dog system of bullying in her school or team or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I feel like permanently dividing them into two different teams is like pretty wild, right?
Yeah. And then,
sorry, you go.
No, you go ahead.
The main thing I was thinking of is like at the start when she's like, because this is a summer camp. Let's remember.
No, it's not even that. It's like a 3-day. It's like a weekend camp.
It's like a weekend. Well, it's a weekend camp during the summer.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, and she explicitly pitches it as like, I like to look for like middle schoolers who seem like they're talented and invite them here to like see how they are and like, you know, or like, you know, young students who are not on the team, see how they are to like gauge their skills, whatever. Cool. The second it actually starts and the parents are gone, she's like, everybody shut the fuck up. You gotta be quiet. If you don't respect me, then you're all doing lines right now. You heard me, teenage girl who's literally never experienced my style of coaching before and couldn't possibly know how serious I mean about this stuff.
Yeah, man, that's pretty good. Honestly, it's pretty good.
I feel like one of the rules for this, and I'm not a teacher, so I don't know this, is probably don't single out the kid and go, everyone put your phones in the bag, because Riley was bad. Riley is the reason that you should all feel upset that you can't use your phones, something kids really like, which phones should have been in their brains all the time. All the little emotions should have been on their phones or something, because that's all it is.
Yeah, singling out, again, the 13-year-old girl amongst high schoolers. Like, it'd be one thing if one of the if like Val, the 18-year-old senior, was like goofing off. You could be like, come on, Val, you know better than this. But like, they're middle schoolers, man. You could be a little nicer.
Oh, for sure. Also, teacher has a secret game that she secretly ranks all the kids on. That's secretly the qualifier for if you get to be on the team, and she won't tell you. And maybe she'll just decide you can't even be on the team before that. But then you can be on the team if you have a panic attack or whatever. But like in the beginning of the movie, it does seem like she has just this incredibly complicated system of deciding who is on a high school hockey team in San Francisco. Like, just, she's gone mad with power. She has nothing but the orange one. Well, what's her head like?
Oh, yeah.
Rage?
She doesn't seem like that angry per se.
It's just locked in.
You know what it is? Envy. She envies their youth and their future.
And nostalgia. Nostalgia has taken over and formed a pact with envy. And and they're ruining it.
That's why she's calling bullshit penalties on these kids, just to exert her power over them. I will not get over this.
I think this coach is secretly the villain of this movie.
If Riley came and just high sticked her friend, even in the shoulder, or like cross-checked, like really got that stick up there, and then coach was like, what are you doing? Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, that might be a 5-minute major. One of those.
Yeah, it's funny
right?
because as you mentioned it, hockey is one of the more violent sports. If this was basketball or literally any other sport, her getting violent would have been pretty easy to like track in a sport, but they picked hockey. It's like if it was fucking boxing. Like I think
that's a subset of hockey. Boxing's part of it. Yeah, you got to know how to throw gloves.
Well, now hold on. I don't know that I don't know that I'll sign on to the statement boxing is a subset of hockey.
Listen,
I think the evolution of those two sports is separate.
Nope. They started doing hockey and they got in fights. And then there was some guy who was like, you know what? If we got rid of all this ice and just 2 of them and no skates and gloves, we keep the gloves because they do have gloves usually. This could be its own thing. And then he was right. That guy's name, Mike Tyson. So
he couldn't skate. So he's like, finally.
Couldn't.
That was it.
Yep, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, they're friends.
I'm just saying, if that was in the movie, I'd be on board. But I just think it's very unrealistic. It was an incidental hit. It almost felt like an accident.
Yeah,
I mean, it was an accident.
It was an accident. That's the thing. It feels like, if anything, I don't know a whole lot about hockey, but in basketball, if this was a basketball thing, she seemed to get called for a charge when in reality, the other character was kind of posting up. And if anything, created the situation. Riley was just, carelessly skating, but that's what they're all doing.
Get the other friend for 13. Interference.
Yeah. Also, what do we think of this team of children led by the cool girl with no flaws? Did you expect her to be the villain at some point?
Yeah, I was waiting for the turn. I was surprised that she was that character the entire time. The well-meaning high schooler who just wants to help out Riley.
Well, that feels like maybe the turn happens in the movie that doesn't have the inside world. Like, I feel like you don't want to muddy the internal conflict with having external conflicts like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Otherwise, where would the tubes would have to turn in a different direction or something, and there would be vacuums instead of pushing, and it would just be.
Well, it's just like, if it's not a thing Riley needs to come, like if it turns out it's just like, someone was being a jerk. It's like, well, there's not a huge lesson to learn about yourself in there. Don't trust jerks. I don't know.
I do feel like in that situation, anxiety would have a pretty good case for, like, you guys didn't fully listen to me. If I had been in charge, we would have anticipated this and everything would have been cool. You know?
Right.
Like, it would have been one of those, like, kind of.
If we had been nicer to her, she never would have turned on us.
Exactly. Yeah. We have to reach across the aisle to the mean ones and just do whatever they say. Yeah. So yeah, the coach sucks. How was the hockey in this, DJ, as far as like being photographed and stuff? Did it look cool?
I thought it was fine. There is an insane part where like when Riley's going like full heel and like steals the puck from her teammate, like that is the part where you think the coach will blow a whistle and be like, "What are you doing? Like, go sit down. Like, this isn't a penalty. You're being an ass. Like, just go sit down, please."
This coach was like, "Fuck yeah! I've been waiting for years for one of the kids to steal from their own team." The dynamic I have fostered is finally coming true. Riley is the chosen one.
That's actually why she gets on the team. It's because she did that.
Yeah,
She's tried something no one else had tried.
I thought it was interesting that the whole thing for anxiety was, okay, so when Val was in this camp, she scored 2 goals as a freshman or whatever, as a 13-year-old, and that's how she got on the team. If we score 3 goals, we'll definitely get on the team. And Riley gets those 2 goals early, and there's like never, like, it never really comes up again. Like, there was such like import on this, but like it didn't, it seemed to matter so little as it was happening.
It's almost like it never really mattered at all, and it was just anxiety convincing you that things that were unimportant were vitally important.
Oh.
Apparently. Wow. But I also think if Riley was able to get those 3 goals cleanly without the penalty, her life would probably be better, right? Like, she'd just probably be a star at this game. Everyone would like her. Her friends probably wouldn't hang out with her as much anymore, but like, she's going to a different school. What are you going to do?
I do want to say also, sorry, about this coach, shitty note taker. All she writes about Riley is not ready yet. Just no notes besides that.
You can't remember that? Just guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if you're taking notes, they should be detailed, because I can just remember if I thought someone was ready or not.
Yeah, honestly, her notes only work in the inside out of verse, because otherwise you'd be like, right, but like, what do we have to improve? Skating? And it's like, no, sense of self. This character needs to go through an emotional journey, and then maybe she'll be ready for it. Once she reconciles with her friends, then I think we can put her on the hockey team. But right now, as far as fundamentals are concerned, yeah, she's okay.
No, she's fine.
She actually scores a lot of goals when you put down to it. Like, you know, with pens and paper.
These feel like
looks
high-scoring games.
Yeah. Like,
although
accuracy on point, right? She all 4 corners during practice, right? She's very good at that.
Yeah. Also, are the girls just able to wake up early and do whatever they want? Like, it feels like this coach would have more rules about that. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I spun the wheel again, slanted on one of mine. This is just like the one part. Okay, so remember when Rage gets mad at Joy?
Yes.
Can someone walk me through what happens in this conversation? Because I was having a hard time remembering this. What I kind of, in my head it is Rage is like, Joy, you got to get real and solve the problem for us, or you suck. And then Joy goes, I'm tired of this. You're all driving me insane. And then Rage is like, but that's what we want you to do because you're our favorite emotion. And like, I'm like, this is two characters. Why is Rage doing both of these things? And I get it. It's Lewis Black. He's the best one. But still, like, that part confused me a lot, was just that moment. But because I don't, once the movie gets a home release, we all watch it, and then I'll know what that actually was. But for me, in the moment, I could not remember.
I think it was supposed to be, he's like, Joy, you're delusional. We're never going to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
And then she snaps about how, like, she has to, like, they expect her to do everything, and she doesn't have a plan, and, like, this is hard, but they're always complaining. So I think it's supposed to be them being like, oh, man, we have been making this harder than it needed to be. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's why he's like, oh, we will support you from now on.
Sorry, we were bad people.
Yeah. Rage is pretty cool. Or anger, I guess, or whatever. If you had to rank the emotions, let's say all 9. There's 9, right? 4 new ones or 5 new ones?
Yeah. Are you counting nostalgia?
No. So, nostalgia is not an emotion anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
9. There's only 4 new ones, so 9.
Let's take the 9 memory or the 9 emotions. Which ones are the best at their job and just like in general? Are there any you think you could just fully kick out of your brain?
Yeah, like, what's the criteria here? Like, the ones in the movie, or just the ideas of the emotions generally?
Okay, let's do this. In the movie, just functionality. Who's doing their job well? Who's doing their job poorly?
I actually think Disgust is doing a pretty good job. Like I think, like, she seems to know the assignment, if I can, like, use a very poor analogy.
I did like that scene of her and her friends Disgust, both, like, micro-analyzing expressions.
That was fun. That was super fun.
That was cute. And yeah, I agree. I think that emotion has everything pretty together. More than, like, fear,
Yeah, I don't think fear's got much going on. And anger, though, too. Like, anger actually probably has it most together. Dude, you see, what's weird is, so Joy has this kind of, like, right, existential crisis. It's like, the fuck am I doing? And, like, does she have an internal console? Is that right? Right? Where, like, little Joys with how deep does it go?
They're in their own tubes, all stuck in there. You have to get the squares to something.
Is it Joys all the way down? Like, how? How far does this go?
I would assume. I assume they're just like splotches of color or something. As you get less, further in, there's less depth to the things. But yeah, I feel like anger seems like he knows who he is, and he's pretty happy doing that. And we never get in any trouble with him, even though he feels like the emotion that should be flying off the handle and causing problems for Riley.
Yeah.
Well, he does in the first one.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he does in the first one. He's also in charge of the dad, if I remember correctly. Like, I feel like kind of. So, if I remember correctly, and you know what, this probably is in the Disney Plus one, if I can find that.
Yeah, it's in the first one. We see the same glimpses at the parents.
So I kind of think in the parents' heads, the emotions are oriented kind of like sitting at panels like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And dad is anger in the center, and mom is sadness in the center.
Which really paints a bleak picture of their marriage.
Well, I mean, look, all he wants to do is have sex with her, and she's tired of it.
Yeah,
she wants to paint that damn do those chores. Whatever it is that she has to do this week.
Just want to paint those walls. Am I right, DJ?
Yeah, the classic way, not the cool way. And yeah, there's where was I going with this? I don't know. Sadness seems like they're fine, I guess. Sadness, I don't know.
I mean, she does her job. She touches the console and Riley cries.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I guess.
Remember when you were able to cry? We were able to feel emotions, guys.
Absolutely.
Well, like when the TV is on, certain shows give you the emotions. That's, when you watch people do them, you simulate them. And then that's the whole thing, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what all our motion guys are doing in our heads. But what was I going to say? I feel like there's got to be more going on than just like the emotions are like, you touch the thing. No, you touch the thing. I want dials and shit and like pressure valves that the emotions have to deal with. Like the metaphor of this is a machine that they all have to like manage is very, I don't know, just like if you touch the button, it works, turns your color. And then that is what your guy becomes. What about embarrassment? He seems like he's got it pretty good.
He's helpful, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I know nothing about the new emotions except for anxiety. I know nothing about envy. I don't know what envy is supposed to do at all.
Envy wants to be like other people.
Okay. But like in this movie and Inside Out, what's she doing?
She is backing up anxiety by being like, these other girls are so cool. I want to be doing cool things like them. I want to be cool like they are. They're so cool.
I guess it feels a little redundant with anxiety. Like anxiety is like, yes, I know. I have the plan, right?
Well, anxiety is worried about not having friends. Envy thinks these girls are cool. You put that together, and it's like, we've got to have a cool plan to get these cool girls be our friends so we're not alone.
Okay.
And then about anxiety. What's happening at the end of the movie with anxiety? What have we done to anxiety? Is it like
it's part of
in
Riley,
a state of
like
well, it lives in a special chair.
Yes,
that they use to pacify it or something.
Yeah, with its tea, with its
and they give it special tea to pacify it. I'm just saying, I don't really know what the movie wants us to think besides make your anxiety less, get it less, and then it still can exist. So remember when to do chores and stuff. But like, you know, you want to shut that one up as much as possible.
Focus on things that you can control instead of things you cannot.
But you can control how everybody else thinks about you, you know, if you really work at it.
If you really
score more goals. Yeah.
You will then be liked and an accepted member of society. You'll be with the cool kids.
Yeah. I guess in a public facing role like yours, Nando, you really need that working overtime.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Anxiety, the blue one, not sadness. The other one, what was it? Envy? No.
Envy. Yeah.
Envy. Yeah. Those two. Embarrassment's dead.
I was gonna say
threw that one in the wood chipper immediately. And yeah, and Joy is just like doing all the stuff, you know.
Also, Diggins, I appreciate how you say Nando in your public facing role, like as if you are not also, you know, in the same public facing realm.
Not public facing. I need to convince a very small group of people to like me.
We are all, I don't know, we are all in this ship together. All right, everyone on Discord, go rank the three of us. Let's have one of those.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'll make us all feel good.
Yeah, just go for
on the podcast, Digit, my livelihood does not depend upon this podcast.
Right, but your emotions need to be satiated.
Yeah,
right?
like,
otherwise your anxiety will get enough
real
green power or whatever.
This podcast is keeping me alive. Like, I need to be here to.
You would be such an emotional dead end without this podcast that you wouldn't be able to go on.
I would have to sit Michelle down and for 3 hours just listen to me, right? I would be talking.
Your marriage wouldn't survive.
This podcast is keeping my marriage together.
She would put you in a closet and put headphones on and be like, just go. Just you do it to yourself, whatever. Get 3 hours of Ninja Turtles out of your system so you can function in society. It doesn't matter if anybody can hear it or not, you know?
It goes into the void.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think the embarrassment one, I really think they don't make the case. I think ennui also can go into the wood chipper if we want, but you know,
I think
they wanted to have 4.
I think embarrassment, they do an interesting thing with it where embarrassment is the one that kind of rebels early, which I think is interesting because embarrassment is linked to like shame and guilt. And so like, it makes sense to me that her sense of embarrassment would make her feel guilty about the things she's doing, which would make her want to rein in the anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, you figure guilt would just be one of them. Actually, now that I think about it, that's like a pretty solid emotion that is like the one that drives every human. I mean, maybe they're saving that for the third one. That's going to be like the Zerg.
When she joins the Catholic Church, yeah.
Yeah. When she finds the faith emotion. It comes with a secret guilt emotion that's working behind the scenes.
Yeah, they don't tell you. Those ones are a package deal.
Yeah. Here's my other question about the emotions. And this is just like, so the first movie, we have the 5 emotions. I would imagine at some point, because it seems like they were working through what these were going to be, you know, because obviously the emotions were different in different drafts of the script. At some point, they must have gone, all right, we're going to have anxiety. He's going to kind of be the bad guy. It's going to get the power to see the future, and it's going to fuck up everything. I would imagine if I'm Bill Hader, I go, oh, fear does that? Awesome. I get to be in the movie. I get a bigger role. And they're like, not only are you not in the movie, fear doesn't do shit. Fear's just kind of there for parachutes mostly. But like, how does fear not just discover this and become the new imagination director or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
They do draw a distinction in this movie.
They do,
very
briefly,
they do. Where they're like,
that is
fear?
A script note character written right onto it by somebody. Like,
they say fear is for immediate, like, physical threats. Anxiety is about like future things and more existential sort of worries.
I feel like there's another version of this that, because I don't know why. So they remove sadness from the group. It's like, all right, maybe we want to split between the console and the like the exploration. But I wonder if like there was a way to do it. I mean, the OG emotions get jettisoned pretty quickly. But what if it was like, well, fear clearly likes anxiety. That's made obvious in the movie very early.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they want a bone.
Mm-hmm.
At one point he says, I think I can change her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the healthiest thing you can ever feel about someone you're attracted to.
So why does it like fear team up with anxiety? Like fear, and it's like fear is like, oh, anxiety and I talked and you're all gone. They're like, fear, what the fuck? And it's like, because like fear wasn't really a bad guy in the first movie, but now he gets to be a bad guy in this movie. Because like he sees something of value in anxiety, and then it's kind of like those like playing together.
Or he just gets to do anything, right? Because in the first movie, he's one of the ones that doesn't really do much. Like he doesn't have like character development. He's just kind of one of the ones that's there. But like in this movie, you figure, well, we're gonna get the fear side of things now, or the anger side of things, and yeah. I could see a couple of new emotions mixing it up and then causing kind of like survivor alliances among the emotions. But again, that would take place all in there would be, you wouldn't have to send anybody through tubes. So there was no interest in that story. They could go see the, Mortal Kombat guy or whatever. So yeah, did not play. What was the other thing?
We'll say design wise, although he's clearly in a fighting game, I think he's much more of a Final Fantasy guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Is that a reference to something? That like tuck and roll thing?
I couldn't tell you.
I've never played Final Fantasy, so I
mean, Samus does it, but it's very useful in her games.
Exactly. Yeah, and Samus, it's sick. I was going to be like, oh, is he going to turn into a bomb when he hits these guys? But no, he just accidentally knocks them all into the vault or something. I don't know what's
Speaking of, are you guys pumped that Sylux is coming back?
I still don't have a Switch, but I'm excited for you guys. You're all gonna have a great time.
I mean, that's one of the obtainable consoles. You can get a Switch, right?
Yeah, that's
not
hard.
PS5. Yeah.
Wait, what's the new one? Oh, yeah. I would have to decide to do that.
Right. Yeah. It's like you don't have to go kill someone to get a PS5.
Mm-hmm. Although, are they making a Switch
Nando,
2?
am I ever going to get your PS5?
Yeah, are you ever going to come over and get it from me?
Yeah,
maybe,
we got to just come.
Maybe eventually. It's sitting in a bag.
Gotta do
it. Because I play all my games on, my computer now because they're all just whatever Marvel game, Marvel Overwatch, Marvel Snap, They haven't released those for PlayStation yet.
Midnight Suns
game I loved. It was free like a week ago, apparently, which good for people that played that. Guardians of the Galaxy game, the Avengers game everyone hates. And then that Overwatch the Overwatch Star Wars clone that Donkey played the other day that I'd never even heard of before. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
It's called like Rogue Outlaws or something. It's not Star Wars Outlaws, but it's like that. And they just have an Overwatch clone.
But they already have the Marvel Overwatch clone.
I know, and the Marvel one's good. This one looks like it stinks, but it also might be like for children as opposed to the Marvel one, which is for adults. Yeah,
keep telling yourself
spun the wheel again. One more thing here. This one just. Two more things. One real quick for me. The end of the movie. One of the emotions is going overboard with changing things because it's going to detrimentally affect Riley, and they start running around, and it's like they're causing a big chaos maelstrom thing. And the other emotion has to go and be like, hey, calm down. We can't change everything. We got to chill. That's how the Flash movie ends. Right?
Well,
do you think they watch that? We're like, nobody's going to see this, so it'll be okay. But like, that's the end of Flash. And this one even
but he
gets
doesn't
super speed.
successfully calm his younger self.
Yeah, and that's what I was hoping for. Would be a big evil purple one would come and try to stab what's her name, and Anxiety would sacrifice herself. But this one isn't quite as good as Flash, so they couldn't get there. It's the same amount of like bullshit crashing into each other too with me, with just like, yeah, you know, that is what the universe looks like to you. It's a bunch of roller coasters and
although
stuff.
it does do a lot less implying that women are inherently worse than men.
I mean, when it comes to watching sports at dinner, I don't know. They are a little worse at that. Men have that in their brain. They can just watch the sports no matter what.
Don't you guys love how we can just turn the sports on in our brain whenever we want, and then we're just watching the game?
It's a little chip. I love it so much. Turn that shit.
You got the Elon Musk Neuralink?
Yeah. When's that going to be in one of these? Just fucking a Neuralink is like a little robot that comes and
that's the Osmosis Jones vacation of it, right? The little pill.
We get David Hyde Pierce to come in and be the Neuralink chip.
Well,
and then he goes haywire and tries to melt the brain like he did to those monkeys. I was going to say,
yeah, it becomes like a big virus that starts deleting all the memories and the limb controls and stuff, and then Riley dies in a bottle. Well,
you guys are going to go super dark with this. Inside Out 3, Riley's on medication, and now there's someone's coming in to help out the emotions.
I mean, that's the thing, and I did want to get to this on the wheel. There's no way they don't make another one of these because it's the only movie that's made money for Disney this year or something.
We're going to get Inside Out 5 where Riley's like 40.
Yeah. So what do you do with Inside Out 3? What new emotions besides sex does Riley try to figure out? And how does that work? You know, because that's, I don't know. Is she like, what do you do with it?
Here's the thing. If Disney weren't cowards, she would be dealing with the 10th emotion, gay.
I thought that was what the evil secret man was or whatever. I kind of did think we were going to get that.
Did people think that's what this movie was?
So I think when we saw the trailers and we didn't know how much older the girl was, and we saw her like be like all overawed by the cool girl in this movie, people were like, oh, is it going to be that she's figuring herself out sexually because she's attracted to this cool girl? And then it turned out that she was 18 and Riley's 13, and we're like, that's not it.
Well, you know, to be fair, I figured it out when the director said this is a movie we can all agree relates to our lives. That's when I was like, oh, okay. This is about hockey problems exclusively.
Hockey problems.
A fair point.
No emotions besides hockey. What was I going to say about I was going to say, what about the emotions? Can like sadness and happiness, can they shack up together? They have little bunk beds.
Had a clear interest in embarrassment, if you recall.
Yeah.
The emotions must be strictly heterosexual.
They all sleep in one room. Like they're like the Partridge Family or something. Like this is not going to work out. Yeah.
I mean, one would assume that they don't actually have sexual characteristics, right? Like, does the embodiment of your anger need a penis?
Yes. Oh, yes. Everyone's does. That's how it works. But also, I mean, well, what does Envy want to do or not Envy? What does Disgust want to do to Mr. Final Fantasy? Pat him on the head?
It's a great point.
It's what Riley wants to do to him, right?
Is it though? I don't know. I don't think this is that big of a deal for Riley. She never brings it up.
I don't think she's figured out exactly what she wants because she's only just starting puberty. She doesn't know yet.
That's true. This is funny how this movie just sidesteps all the other stuff about puberty. It's like your emotions get a little weird. At one point, one of the characters is like, you're going to smell. And then Riley's like, nah. And then nobody brings that up. But she might smell this whole movie. We talk about this a lot, how much the movie actually should smell and you wouldn't want to be in it. This movie's probably not the worst smelling of the movies we've done, but it's not good.
if you go to the 4DX showing, they actually spray teenage BO in everyone, so you can just live in that stink.
And it's easy to get because they just squeeze out the seats after, like,
say,
Challengers or Taylor Swift Eras Tour or whatever the kids are watching.
Some of these theaters have that pre-baked in. You don't have to go to the 4X. It's there.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Well, they just, for this movie, they just bill all the theaters as 4DX.
That's so an extra $3.
Yeah, right there.
Sick. Honestly, like, is there anything else? Are there spin-offs you would see happening from this or something?
Well, do you do the dad or the mom or
yeah. Do the fucking child's counsel or the marriage counseling game. What was that one that came out
Facade. Recently? That's not it.
No. This one was a video game about a couple getting divorced and they turned into toys. It was nonsense. It was
It Takes Two.
Yes, It Takes Two. Do that, but with the mom and the dad, but have their emotions have to fight or some tubes. They go into each other's tubes emotions. I don't know. Maybe that. Maybe Riley's emotions are like, this is fucked. My parents are much worse than I am. I don't know. When's Riley going to get her core hairstyle that all her emotions will get? When does that happen?
Yo, is it like, so I actually asked Michelle about this because I was like, I have a nitpick. So she puts the leave-in conditioner with the Kool-Aid to make her little red fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no fucking way. And she's like, there is a fucking way. I've done it. That is actually a thing that you can do. You got to make hair dye in a pinch. And I'm like, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure Riley would have fucked it up. Like,
I mean, the kids with their TikTok, but she doesn't have TikTok. Yeah, she doesn't have phone.
So
she just kind of got to go with it. So it depends on how much This is a lesson, kids. Watch TikTok constantly because they might take your phone away and you'll have to do a makeup tutorial or whatever without it. So,
you'll have to take the Kool-Aid and put it into the leave-in conditioner, and then that's how you make hair dye, a thing that apparently you can do. Michelle confirmed it for me. Or she's wrong. I don't know. If you guys think she's wrong, then
if I would trust any one of us to know about what can and cannot be hair dye, it would be Michelle.
Yeah. That's fair. Also, I feel like if I'm Pixar, I'm making it not work because I don't want the kids to go home and try it. You know, you have to have it ruin her hair or something. And the mom gets mad.
I was waiting for, so the embarrassment was going to flare up or something, right? Like that's, right. I'm like, she's going to fuck it up. A lot of things go right for Riley.
A lot of things.
She gets her 2 goals. She becomes good at hockey. She makes the team as far as I'm concerned.
Her panic attack doesn't really become as much of an issue as I kind of expected it to when it started.
Same.
I was like, we're going to have to call the ambulance for her at this point. Like, but she mostly gets over it.
The only reason to call an ambulance for a panic attack is if you like don't realize what's happening and genuinely think you're having a heart attack.
Well, and that's what I guess Riley is very emotional mature because the emotions are in charge of her or whatever. But I was kind of, I don't know. Part of me thought that was what we were getting.
The other reason to call an ambulance for a panic attack is if you get way too high and think that you're going to die. That is the other.
What happens with drugs with these guys? Is that what the dad is? Why he's able to watch sports to dinner? Is because he's in San Francisco.
He's fucking out of his mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Riley, eat your broccoli. It's actually pretty tasty. I put a lot of olive oil on it. All right, you guys, this is pretty cool. Is there emotion? What emotion did they tie up? Anxiety or something, and just like throw in a closet?
Yeah, this fucking. It's gonna be like Riley's in college. Riley takes a gummy. Anxiety's like, oh fuck yes.
All the other emotions are like having a great time, and anxiety's in the background. Like, guys, I can't hear you. I think we need to open a window or something. But also, maybe anxiety shows up, and anxiety makes it way less fun for everybody. You know,
it's true. That happens. There are 2 different ways it can go.
Joy is like, chill out, man. But even anger is like, man, we're having a good time. Anxiety, fuck up, you narc.
Yeah,
that's fucking. Seth Rogen made this stupid fucking hot dog movie. Oh my god! The grocery. Make this shit, Seth Rogen.
Well, they really are. Like, people are leaving money on the table. Seth Rogen needs to make one of these. I was thinking about this before, and I don't even want to put the idea out there because they'll fuck it up. They won't do a good job, and I don't want them to do a good job. I don't know how, like, the Daily Wire or something hasn't jumped on this and made one about puberty blockers or something like that. It just goes to show you how uncreative the conservative comedians are. They can't even hit this absolute T-ball that's just sitting there because they suck at their jobs.
it would require them to have any amount of introspection about human emotions and like how the brain works, which they don't have.
And yeah, they would never be able to.
The other one is fake Bluey, right? So maybe they might make fake Inside Out.
That's true. They could do it. Rob Schneider. They see if they can wrangle him together to do all the emotions. I don't know. I mean,
who's the Adam Carolla?
Adam Carolla. Get him in there.
Quick, stop it. They're trying to turn Riley into a boy.
Yeah.
Don't let it happen.
I mean, listen, it writes itself. And I don't think in a good way, but I'm just saying, like, it's very easy to do this. They consult the gender book or something that says what her pronouns should be or whatever. Just, it's sitting there, Ben. You're bad at your job. But, you know.
Listen, if in like 18 months we get like Outside In or like the day that Jesus saved me.
Inside Woke, right? Like, or something like that.
Also, they're fighting the woke mind virus.
Yeah, the woke mind virus could be a thing.
Man,
they're awful. By the way, is this movie woke?
Oh,
yes.
Why?
Yeah, why?
One of the girls on the hockey team has a hijab.
No, yeah, that's a good point. That is very woke of them.
Wow. Women's hockey in general, probably pretty woke. Women playing hockey?
It suggests women have an interior lives and emotions of their own that aren't reliant on men.
Ooh, autonomy.
Extremely woke.
Yeah, the autonomy. Yeah.
Also, now that I think about it, wait a second. All the mom's emotions have like female characteristics. Is that a thing?
Yeah, all the dad's emotions are men. All the all the mom's emotions are women.
Is Riley gender fluid at this point, or something's going to change in her? Maybe, you know.
I don't know. Maybe
they shouldn't have ever shown us anyone else's mind. It breaks the whole thing. But they couldn't help themselves. I have to think if this woke. I mean, San Francisco is pretty woke.
Mm-hmm.
Although apparently it's a hellhole, so you know who could say. Breaking and entering?
I feel pretty strongly about the thing I said.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
It suggests that a single-minded determination to be better than others isn't healthy for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I would say this movie is on the woker side. Honestly, the only thing is that there's no, none of the, there's no line where anybody has pronouns or something. They managed to scoot by all that. As far as I can remember.
Kids dye their hair. Woke.
Yeah, but they dye their hair for sports and not rebellion. And like, it's red, which I don't think would be considered a woke color. That's the color you dye your hair after you win Squid Game and nothing else. It's the victory color. Yeah, I'd say this movie's woke.
Nice.
How long do you think it'll take them to make the next one? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Like, how quickly do you think they could turn one of these over?
At least a couple years. Animation takes a long time, even if you already have some assets.
And they really upped the game. Where like in the first Inside Out, they just had different colored skin. In this movie, they are like particles closely aligned, but still kind of floating inches away from their bodies.
There was some of that in the first one. Joy had some of that fuzziness.
Yeah, and so did Envy has a lot of it. Not Envy.
Disgust
has a lot of it in this one. Yeah,
they upped it. Yeah, they like turned the dial up on that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, it's been 9 years. It is more advanced, but Joy was fuzzy in the first one.
Many animators miss their kids' graduations and various holidays to make this happen.
For sure.
And were they probably? But were they paid commensurate with the time they put in? Absolutely not.
No,
they got experience, Diggins. They got experience.
That's true. And if this doesn't work out, there's that Star Wars hotel they can work at, right across the street.
Yep.
Do you guys want to get to our classic segment then? Anything else about Inside Out?
I go see it. It's great. I'd say go see it. Yeah.
And it's making money, so it won't be on Disney.
I was going to say they're going to hold this one off. Even the Marvels was held off for a while, and like that didn't do amazing, so they're going to hold it off.
I don't think that was a pretty big hit.
Just compare it to all the movies this year.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That came out in 2024, blockbuster.
I saw an article today that was like, the Ghostbusters movie made money. And I'm like, no, it didn't. But maybe it did. I don't know.
I mean, it did in the sense that it it made money was given to people in order to see it.
Yeah,
it did make money.
It's right now Inside Out has 500 million, excuse me, worldwide, which puts it right under Kung Fu Panda 4, which just hit Peacock, slightly under Godzilla Kong New Empire, which is well done, and then significantly under Dune Part 2, which is currently the highest grossing worldwide movie with about $700 million. So this might break $1 billion, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah, not exaggerating. This might not be on Disney Plus till like September or something.
Oh yeah,
like even later possibly. So we're talking fall, really. So you watch it for the election, you feel right at home.
Yeah,
I'm okay. Anxiety, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, classic segment.
It's good. Oh yeah, classic segment.
DJ, do you want to recommend something to the fine people?
I have a few things to recommend. All right. So, easy one right off the bat. Boys, season 4, masterpiece.
The boys are back.
Keep giving these to me.
In town?
And the boys are back in town.
New York City, the greatest city on earth.
The Mecca.
It is. That's true.
Yeah, they work in the Flatiron Building.
So I haven't watched the latest one, the episode 4, but I watched the first 3. And give Anthony Starr his Emmy, just please. Just give him.
Never.
I don't know how to do it, but just give him an Emmy for he fucking rules. Call it the fucking rules Emmy. We pick an actor, and it's like, look, maybe they don't fit into like the best, whatever, but we just all agree that guy fucking ruled, and he gets the fucking ruled Emmy. So
that's the Teen Choice Award or something. Or like,
where the fans I want it to be an Emmy.
It should be an Emmy. It's weird because they break things down by, comedy and like drama and stuff.
Yeah.
But because The Bear counts as both, it wins comedy. And then I feel like otherwise maybe they'd have a shot. I mean, there's other comedies that are good this year, but
I think comedy and drama in the Emmys is actually literally just running time.
Yeah, it is. And they would hit the drama side because
The Bear's half hour.
It's an hour long. Yeah.
Look, this man is doing God's work. He is such a good actor. He elevates the show. And is like,
you heard it here first, folks. DJ thinks Homelander is doing God's work. Mm-hmm. He thinks everything he does is good and is to the benefit of the country.
All facts here. Does no lies detected. I just this man needs something. I don't know what it is, but give the man his flowers because it's he's elevating this show and is so good as what he does. I didn't know anything about Homelander before watching The Boys. I didn't know anything about The Boys, but now I'm like this like I know exactly who Homelander is. And he just I love him. He's so good.
Well, if you thought you knew something about him before the show, that doesn't count anymore anyway because he's nothing in the show. He's just a big dummy. So
okay, fair enough.
The show is better than the books. No one read the books; they're bad.
Okay, I will also say the show
hold on, Nando. Who made the Boys comic book?
Garth Ennis, a guy who definitely likes all this shit and doesn't have an axe to grind or something.
You tell me a Garth Ennis comic book is maybe a little not entirely well put together.
Not entirely well put together and with emotionally kind of immature in a way that you're like, this is not really working. But in the show, it does work because they do weird stuff. Yeah. Because the show knows it's dumb.
Yeah. It leans into it.
They lick each other's buttholes and stuff, and it's like, that's funny that they did that on the show.
They go inside the pee hole and
they do that. Yeah, the Thanos butthole explosion thing.
They know what they're doing.
It's great.
But yeah, it's a great show, and he's great. And I just want this man to get accolades because the show also a lot of actors. I don't know if this is part of the call sheet. A lot of forced face twitching. Just like a lot of the actors do really good at the face twitch. He does it exceptionally well, but there's other actors do it. And I'm like, this show ratio is high on face twitching. So I guess it's just part of being on The Boys. Gonna make that face twitch.
Do you think they have somebody blowing air at you to make your face twitch or something?
Because I'm trying to do it. I'm like, I can't do it. It's how you just make your face twitch.
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay, so that's that. There's another show on Peacock they started watching. It's called Love Undercover. Have you guys heard of this show?
The soccer show.
Yes.
Yeah, is it any good?
I like it. Yeah, it's they definitely overplay. So the premise is that they get a bunch of I don't know if they're all Premier League, but European soccer players who are single and various levels of success. I think they overplay how famous some of these guys are. Like some of these guys are legit famous football players, and other are technically, Premier League players, but they might not be as high profile as the show is leading you to believe. But they're bringing them to America to find love. Also talking about a show that leans into it during the like little intro thing explainer. They're like, so we're bringing these soccer players to the most genuine place we can find, where everyone's very authentic, Los Angeles, California, right. And it's like it leans into it so good. And then so they're there to meet these women. These women do not know that they're soccer players. They think that they're just like European folks looking for American mates, as it were. Not mates as friends, mates as partners. And so and they don't know that they're famous soccer players. And the fun part is when they get eliminated from the show and they find out that they're rich, famous soccer players, and it's great. So it's a little bit like the Joe Millionaire premise, but I think done a lot better. The show is like very, very campy, which I like. It's like this show should not be taken seriously, where I think some of the shows try to take themselves seriously. Like Peacock had this awful like Bridgerton style like Victorian era dating show that was terrible because it didn't lean into the camp, because that is a generally campy premise. But this does it super well. And it's fun. It's like it's just fun. Again, like there's a couple of the soccer players that they are famous, but there's like one or two. It's like not really. Like, you played soccer, but like,
who's this Cristiano Ronaldo guy?
Yeah, this Pele's ghost guy or something. He's dead, right? I think Pele is dead.
I think they went as high as they could go without them being like, no, I know who you are.
Recently-ish.
I think that's right.
But it's fun. Yeah, I like. Again, Peacock is like cranking out some good content, especially like the reality show. Like genre. Like I think Peacock's doing really well. Something that I predicted would die. That's right. I said at one point. I did. I think I said that. I said Peacock would die.
You did.
And
I mean, it's still totally good. We've got a whole year. Like, it doesn't matter whether the shows are good or not. That didn't save Quibi.
I'm ready to think Max will die sooner than Peacock. Like, it's just
because of horrible mismanagement.
Yeah. They're bad.
Like their bench is so strong and they're just bungling it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't think a crazy thing to say that they might, like, I trust Peacock more than Max. That's like where I'm at with my trust in my streaming services. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. So that's good. And then I half want to recommend a board game and half don't. So it's a Cole Worley game. So like it's a Root, Fort, Ahoy. If I'm just saying 4-letter words, I'm sorry. But it's usually area control games where the goal is to score victory points. Like every Cole Worley game is to score victory points, and it's fine.
Do they always have 4 letters in the name?
Yeah, the ones that he produces from Leader Games, yes, always have 4 letters in the name. It's this thing that it started with Root, and then the second, I don't know if the second game was 4, but it just, they're all 4 letters. It's Root, Fort, Ahoy, Oath. They're all 4 letters. But this one is called Arcs. So this one, the theme is space. We're in space now. And it is a trick-taking game where you are, so like trick-taking game is like Uno, where like you're playing cards based on like suit and number. But like those are how you do your actions. And the object of the game is interesting. There's 6 objectives, but you can only score a certain amount of objectives per round by declaring them. So like there's like a war objective, there's like a resource objective, there's like a political objective where you're trying to capture other people's like political operatives. And that's literally the only way to score. So it's this weird puzzle where like the trick ticking game aspect of it is very simple, like how you do your various aspects, but how you score points is incredibly complicated. And for me, it's fun. For some people who will remain nameless, it is a nightmare, and it's a game they never want to play again. I had fun with it, but I now have no one in my life to play it with. And I'm not talking just about Michelle. I'm talking people in my board game group who are like, nah, not about this game. Why am I recommending it? Because I enjoyed it. Maybe you're a psycho like me and you would like this kind of game. And I legit think it's fun, but I love the challenge of it because the scoring is not straightforward. The mechanic of scoring is something that is part of the gameplay, and I think it's fascinating. Because you could try for a certain objective and get 0 points off of it, because you didn't like set up the puzzle pieces in the right way. And I think it's cool. And other people think that that's not fun. So I don't know what to tell you. I like it. It's called Arcs from Leader Games. You can pre-order it from their website. I legit think it's fun. If you and I'm coming in hot with 2. If you want a much lighter game, there's a game called Penny Black, which it's a stamp collecting game in the style of like Azul. It plays very much like Azul, where you're collecting tiles and you got to put them a certain way. Depending on how you put them, you score lots of points. So if that sounds fun to you, Penny Black. It's based off of Diggins. If I say Penny Black, does that mean anything to you? You're like a trivia guy.
Penny Black?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's like the first stamp. The first stamp was called Penny Black. It had Queen Victoria on it. Yeah, Queen Victoria on it. And it was like the first stamp. It issued on May 1st, 1840. And at one point it was like the holy grail of stamp collecting was the Penny Black, because it was the first stamp and like very rare. Like that Hogus Wagner baseball card.
Right. But then they started putting like Sonic the Hedgehog on stamps, and everybody was like, who gives a shit about this one? These ones have Sonic. That's the best one now.
Yeah. Basically. So, okay. This was a lot. This was a lot of Recs. I never come in hot with this many Recs, but yeah. That's it for me. Diggins, what do you have to recommend to the fine folks?
Yeah, you'd think with how much you complain about not having Recs, you'd ration them more.
That's true.
He'd forget, though. I understand that. Like, you got to throw all your Recs out, because otherwise in a week, you'll never remember any of the stuff you consumed.
It's true.
That's why you have a letterboxed. Speaking of, well, first of all, I want to quickly, give a second to a rec that was made previously. I saw Stereophonic.
Oh, yeah.
The Broadway show that's not about Fleetwood Mac. If you ask our lawyers, it's legally distinct.
Which, to be fair, is all Broadway shows. Just like, Phantom of the Opera. Not Fleetwood Mac either. So
that's true. Legally distinct from Fleetwood Mac. But yeah, no, it's a great show. It's like really, it really gets into the interpersonal dynamics in a way, which I think Nando and I were talking about it earlier. I described it as the first half is a competition to see who sucks the most, and then the second half is showing you why the guy who wins sucks.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, so that's just a quick seconding. My full new rec is I watched. You guys heard of this guy? Kind of a director, foreign director. So does some decent animation work. Hayao Miyazaki.
Oh yeah.
No, who's that?
He's this Japanese director. He makes a few animated movies. They're not bad.
Does he have a good relationship with his kids?
His relationship with his son is rock solid. He never says anything mean about his son publicly ever.
And that's who I love. I like this guy already. Cut of his jib.
But no, this is one of the older, 90s Ghibli movies. You guys either of you ever watch Porco Rosso?
No, familiar with, but never watched it.
Yeah, it's the pig one, right?
Yeah, it's the one where the main character is an Italian pilot who set like a little bit before World War II, but he's not Italian. He like doesn't live in Italy anymore for reasons the movie's actually quite explicit about.
It's everyone there's bad, Italians. What are you going to do? You got to get out of there. No, there's
literally a line in the dub of the movie. I watched the dub where at one point he tells an old friend of his, "I'd rather be a pig than a fascist."
That too. That's another good reason.
Speaking of which, the dub voice of Porco Rosso, Michael Keaton. It's a good dub. Yeah. But yeah, so it's about him, and he's kind of like gotten like cynical, and also everyone else is a human. He was turned into a pig by magic, but it's not that important.
That happens a lot, though. Turned into pigs in magic, like
like that girl's parents get spirited away,
and the ones from the Odyssey and stuff. Like if you're gonna get turned into something, there's a good chance it's gonna be pig.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's growing kind of like cynical, and he exists in a world where there's a lot of sky pirates, people with planes who like try to rob boats and stuff. So he gets paid to like stop that from happening. But it's sort of just like him he has to get his plane fixed by his old friend, but it ends up being mainly worked on by his old friend's granddaughter, and sort of just like him learning to be, learning to shed some of his cynicism that he's grown via spending time with this like teenage girl who's there's nothing weird going on.
Okay,
can't emphasize that enough.
Okay.
And it's just a really good movie. Porco Rosso gotta be in the top 10 coolest guys in movies. He's really cool. And it's just, you know, it's not that there's not a lot going on. I would say it is one of the more like straightforward kind of like adventure movies as far as Miyazaki movies go. So I think it's a good one where if you kind of bounced off of like your Spirited Aways or your Princess Mononoke's, I want something that's just like mostly pretty straightforward. I think Porco Rosso is a good one to try. So yeah, that's my rec. What about you, Nando?
Wow. Okay. I've got a couple too. I'll co-sign The Boys. I like The Boys. I've watched all 4 episodes so far, so I'm pretty caught up. I do think that like there are certain, like every season of The Boys, there's certain plot lines that work for me more than others. The ones that I like are all the ones that aren't Frenchies. The ones that I don't like are the Frenchy one. I think that one's dumb. And I think the show, you know, just needs to figure that character out. But everything else, I think, like the Homelander stuff is great. I love the Vought stuff. It's so funny to do just their dumb stuff. That's like, it doesn't think they're the very smart. Like, I don't think there's anybody who's like, if we make them do a little song about how there's no, you know, Santa and Christmas anymore, that'll really change the world. I think they're like, this is kind of silly. And they do it, and it's really well done. So, like, stuff like that I think is great. I do think that some of the cameos this season have been pretty insane, especially some of the voice cameos. So that's entertaining. I'm curious where this season goes, and I have my theories. I was thinking about making a video about it, but I still haven't. And not theories like if you look at this character, just more theories like thematically, what is the season trying to say? And we know that the next season, season 5, is the last one. So like, where does this season end to set up some sort of finale season?
Right.
I think
it's pretty crazy they got Hillary Clinton to cameo.
Yo, I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Hillary Clinton was in this show. I don't think she would do it, but like, okay, let's see, who would be cool? Like, who would do it? Who would like? No, I mean, you could totally get her. She was on Broad City for sure. She would, but she wouldn't. But like, what would she be doing? You know, like, because all the politicians are bad, so she can't be a politician. But yeah, so it's tricky. But anyway, The Boys is good. I've watched The Acolyte. I'm pretty much caught up, I think. As of when this comes out, I might be one behind, but I enjoy it. I think, you know, Star Wars is fine. I like seeing the Squid Game guy. He's pretty cool. It's weird to see him in something that's not Squid Game, but that's just because I'm only seeing him in Squid Game. All the rest of the Jedis are weird, and I think the show is interesting because the Jedis aren't very good at it, like doing Jedi stuff. But also, it's weird because you never really understood what these guys were. Are they cops? Are they like, you know, priests? Whatever. So I think the way that it plays into that is interesting. I think a lot of the stuff they do with the actual main character is a little strange. They get into a lot of the magic associated with certain things that I'm like, are we doing that? But you know, it's pretty cool. And the fighting's great. I think some of the martial arts stuff that they managed to work into this is very good. So it's not my favorite show. I obviously still like Andor more, but I think as far as, you know, besides Mando season 1 is probably the other best thing they've produced. So yeah, that's pretty good. I watched a movie I think Diggins has already recommended, or at least talked about, the Hitman movie, the one with what's his name, Top Gun boy, what is his name? Glenn Powell, yeah.
The guy that you were incredulous that I didn't know the name of?
That's right, and now you do, and I don't, and tables have turned. Did you watch Hitman? I can't remember.
I actually have not watched it yet, so I have not wrecked it previously.
Okay.
I watched it.
Yeah, I was not a huge fan. I think it's a little bit messier and like not as interesting as I think some people like it. And I think the ending is insane. But you know,
you heard it here first, folks. Nando thinks Glenn Powell not a movie star.
You know what? And like, he is a movie star. It's another one of those roles where it's like, then don't cast a movie star. If you're gonna have all the characters go like, what a nerd. It's like, no, it's Glenn Powell. It's the same thing with the fucking Fall Guy movie. It's like, that's Ryan Gosling. I can see him. He's a star. He's not a schlub. But they kind of do that with this. Not quite the same. Like, I think everybody in it is good. Edgar Arjona is good. But I don't know. There's just certain decisions I didn't really enjoy. And I didn't like it because the hitman was a man. Now, if he was a monkey, I would love it because I finished the Hit Monkey show, the first season on Hulu, and that show fucking rules. Everybody should watch it. It's great fun. It really took me 2 episodes to get into it because the premise kind of at the end of the first episode, it's like, here's what the show is now. And it takes an episode to like start having fun with that. But man, the finale of that show is so good. And it's so much stuff kind of coming together. It's so weird. And the action's great. It's so good. And I can't wait. The next season comes out in like a month. So I'm really digging that. It's based off a Marvel comic that nobody read, but it's pretty popular. Like as a show, I think people after I talked about it, a bunch of people were like, yeah, I did watch that and told everybody I know to watch it. And none of them did. But, it's got Jason Sudeikis. If you love him, then you'll love it.
No, you could have just said a Marvel comic. You didn't have to throw in that last clause.
No. Because this is one of the ones that I feel like even Marvel Comics fans are like, oh, yeah, he's like a cop or something. And it's like, yeah, no, it's more complicated than that. But he only seems to exist in his own comics mostly. He's a relatively new character. Although I wouldn't be shocked if there was a character from like the 20s that was like monkey with a gun. And then this is like an adaptation of that. But I don't think that's what it is.
Detective Chimp?
Exactly. Yeah, there's other guys like this. And this one is interesting because I really do think it's interesting because the monkey doesn't speak. It is all kind of him chirping at Jason Sudeikis and Jason Sudeikis kind of Chewbacca like, oh, what, you saying that? And then chirp, chirp, chirp. Come on, don't say that to me. So like you kind of have to interpret it. But I think the monkey voice acting is pretty good. And the faces and stuff, they really get at it. So I love that. I've watched 2 episodes. I know there's the third one that just came out of Fantasmas. This was a Diggins recommendation from last week. Love it. Love the mouth. Love all of that stuff that you talked about last week. Just great. I think, I haven't. Did you watch the new one yet? There was one yesterday, I think.
I haven't watched that one yet. No.
Okay, yeah, me neither. So very into that. Other thing we watched the other day, I watched the first episode of a show called We Are Lady Parts. This is on Peacock. Speaking of how Peacock is crushing it, it's a show about a couple of probably in their early 20s, British girls like that are trying to form a band, and they're all in some way kind of outside the norm of their society, which is mostly a Muslim, like it's that, but they're all like kind of rebels, and it doesn't fit in, and it's a pretty funny show. Like I did not expect it to be as silly as it was. And I really, I'm enjoying it, but we only watched one. Also season 3 of Australian Taskmasters or New Zealand Taskmasters on YouTube now, which is a very good season. So I'm enjoying that too. So those are all my recommendations. DJ, what are we doing next week?
That's a great question. I haven't looked at any kind of movies or anything. But you might also want me to tell people to check out Roses and Rejections, the podcast
we'll do that too.
Network that I host with my wife Michelle. This week we talk wrapping up Perfect Match, and we actually have a Bachelorette season coming around the corner. I am so rusty. It's like the longest I've gone without talking Batch, so be good to get back to it, as it were.
When's the Golden Bachelorette start? Is that
like
soon?
Fall?
Okay.
Yeah. So they got rid of Bachelor in Paradise, which was their like kind of Love Island type show.
Right.
We'll finally be back to Bachelor content. And also you can check me out. I'm going to be doing another podcast on the Pop Break on, you guessed it, Bluey, doing a Bluey podcast on Pop Break.
Are you going to talk about all the things we said Bluey should do?
Yeah, I'll bring all that up with them.
All the sex stuff and whatever it was. It's been so long, I already forgot, but...
I'll be like, guys, you know that... was it Chip Chilla? Chip Chilla?
Chilla, yeah!
Yeah, you know Chip Chilla's a better one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You all know Chip Chilla's better.
Yeah. Bluey's too woke.
But yeah, so check those out on the Pop Break Network. Diggins, do you have anything to plug?
So a friend of mine has for years been working on a video game that just came out on June 21st. It's called Times in Galaxy. It's kind of a how do you describe it? Basically, you're playing as a little like journalism robot in like a sci-fi kind of, alien future thing. And like the lead designer was a guy who worked on the Mass Effect games, so think like that kind of world almost, but more silly and whimsical. And so you're like going around like interviewing people because you're a reporter for a newspaper, the Times and Galaxy. So you go around interviewing people at different events. So you get to choose like what questions you ask, which influences like the flavor of the stories, which then changes how things shake out based on like the what the story the newspaper puts out is like. My friend did a lot of the character design and character artwork for that game, which is all, of course, excellent.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so guys should check that out. It's available on Steam, and I think it's on Switch as well.
Yeah, it seems like it's on a lot of platforms. Nintendo,
yeah, I think it's actually available on all major platforms.
I think that's right. Cool.
Nice. Yeah, so whatever platform you prefer, play it. Buy it, play it. Leave a little review if you liked it. Just
And in that review, be like, Diggins told me to do it.
I mean, don't do that.
Say, don't put this at PlayStation ID sign in or something, right? Because we don't use reviews for games to like actually say if the game is good. You have to voice your displeasure with the developer's decisions recently. That's what true. I understand. So
you have to say that they're woke, and that's bad.
Yeah. Would you say this game is woke?
You can, at the beginning, you get to choose like your reporter bot's presentation, and one of the options is non-binary, so it is unfortunately woke.
Nice.
I thought you were gonna say you get to choose your like affiliation if you do like the like New York Times route or the chaos route where you work for Newsmax and you like make up all the news. It's like those games where they'd be like, all right, now go into the manual and see if you can find the secret code. Got to do all the numerology.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how evil you can be in the game. I have not played much yet myself, but you should definitely check it out. I know that it's been worked on very hard for a long time. What about you, Nando? Anything to plug?
I have videos that'll be out. I actually think my what can the MCU learn from X-Men 97 video will probably be on YouTube pretty soon, which means the video after that will be on Nebula. And that is my In Defense of the X-Men movies nobody likes video. So I went through the 6 or 7 X-Men movies that nobody likes and picked out all the good parts. And like, this part was good. This hair was nice. This fight scene is cool. So that one's fun.
You said Dark Phoenix is an underrated classic. It's actually one of the best X-Men movies.
I think if it wasn't surrounded by the other ones, it would be okay. Because all the performances are good and the fight scenes are cool. The aliens are bad, and the fact that it is a continuation of the other ones is insane. But yeah, I have the one the movie that it made me love is The Wolverine. I think that movie's genuinely good. The one in Japan, and I don't know why we don't talk about it as much, but I think it has something to do with the fact that it came out the same year as Avengers. But yeah, it was a good. That's a good video. That'll be out soon. Marble Snap videos. I have my Fastos one coming out pretty soon. That one's fun. Fastos interesting card, and my Makari one is out now, where I say nice things about Makari, the card everyone likes that got me to Infinite, and I didn't say anything negative about it.
And you've never said anything bad about.
Not a single thing. Makari's always been. I've been saying for a while. I'm like, it's Makari, Cersei, Gilgamesh, Athena, and Fastos, and then Narration. That's my tier list. And
I thought KM Best had a really good point that it's bad that that Fastos is not the speed one. The guy's name's Fastos. He should be fast.
I said that in the video before too. He should, KM.
What?
I mean, maybe, maybe you saw it in my video, but
or he stole from you. No. I'm sorry.
Maybe. Honestly, that might be on the Nebula one. So if that's the case, KM, way to go. Subscribing to Nebula, everybody loves that. But yeah, it is weird that he is not the fast one.
Yeah, there's a guy named Fastos. He should be the fast one. That's
yeah.
all I know about the Eternals, even after watching the movie.
And they're all pretty fast when you get down to it,
That's
There's
true. They are all pretty
slow
fast.
One, There's there should be one who's like the slow Eternal.
Was it Gilgamesh?
Really
he was kind of slow. He's kind of slow?
I mean, they all kind
of
walk at the same speed.
Yeah, I don't know.
If anything, Kingo is a little bit of he's got his little camera guy. Maybe Sprite would be the slow one because she has longer legs because she's a child.
There we go. Yeah.
Or Selma Hayek would be the slowest one because she dies in the beginning of the movie. So her body is stationary for the whole runtime, except for the rotation of the Earth, I guess. But yeah, so those videos will be out or whatever. I don't know. Go to the YouTube page. You'll find the stuff. But what are we doing next week? I feel like If is on VOD now. If we wanted to do If, there's that Watchers movie. Will probably be on VOD by the time we get to it. But then there's some movie debt. I have some. Obviously, I have the one of the anime movies we've been meaning to do. I also got some suggestions from Movie Turtle, who won something recently. They had a couple of interesting ones I've been meaning to discuss.
I kind of want to do If, only because like we had a pretty good run of like 2 weeks where it's like, oh, Bad Boys, Inside Out 2, some good movies, and like I think I want to get back in it.
I would not put those on the same tier.
But I mean, good though, right? Like what? Like we had a run where we were just doing like the Rebel Moons and the Imaginaries, and like we were just like in the muck, and I'm like, I kind of want to get back in the muck.
And then this is another imaginary movie, like, right. So do we want to just like finish? Is that going to be our Pinocchios this year?
I like it.
Do every imaginary friend movie. I mean,
I like it.
There's that other one now, the anime one that apparently people don't really like either. So yeah, I think we got to do all of them.
What's that one?
I don't know. I think it's called Imaginary.
Okay.
Which you're like, wait, but that's the name of another one. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it might just be called Imagine. But no, it's called The Imaginary. Excuse me.
The Imaginary.
The Imaginary. The Imaginary in France, but is The Imaginary. It's by Studio Ponok apparently, so it kind of has the like Miyazaki-ish look to it. Someone could be tricked, I guess. But yeah, that is another imaginary friend movie. The people love them.
Oh, is this on Netflix?
Oh no, that's like double. We have to do it. I don't want to do that one yet.
This premieres July 5th.
Oh, okay, it's not out yet. All right, great. Yeah, I don't know. I'm close on If. I'm kind of interested in Watchers, but I'll show you the list of the other ones that we have to do, and maybe one of those will jump out. Some of them are kind of fun. So until next week. Oh wait, I have the little thing so I can play the sound. Here we go. So. Until next week, I've been in... Oh, shoot. No, I did it wrong. All right, here we go.
Leave all this in.
Yeah.
All right.
Until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Sippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
And now it keeps going. I'm not editing me saying this out. But
no, this is really good.
Yeah.
From now on, we should keep talking to the end of the roll.
Is it going to fade out?